What's up, Spellslingers? My name is Garion John Wells.
I'm Drew Flitton.
And I'm Cory Janibagian.
And this is Untap
Upkeep.
Drink.
Beer up.
Welcome back, guys. We are finishing up our Ikoria set review. So we went through commons and uncommons last week. We got up to Wooburg. We've got some multicolored stuff left, but we're going to get into the real spicy stuff today. How are you guys feeling?
When I was going through all of this, I made this astounding conclusion. This set is the most cycle heavy or most thematically intense that we've seen in a long time. We'll see as we go through this episode, but basically there's not a single card in multicolor, uncommons, and above that is not part of a cycle, aside from 2 mythics. Everything else is cycled in proportionately. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. You can tell that this set was kind of built in a bubble, and they could only do this on a brand new plane like Ikoria, where they had just free roam to do whatever they want.
So we do have the rest of the uncommons, which are going to be the multicolored uncommons, and a couple artifacts, I believe. We've got the rares with a massive emphasis on cycles, and then we've got mythics with, again, just emphasis on the cycles that they produced. Before we get to that, of course, we have all of our social medias. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, we're at UUD Podcast and Untap Upkeep Drink. We've gotten some real cool comments. We understand that the commander, wrapping back up to getting current on commander was a little annoying. We just wanted to be thorough and have some perspective, but now we're caught up and we're ready to go. So let's discuss. We got kind of a thematic episode ourselves for this one. We've been collecting beers since last September, I think. Over a year now. Well, I just mean for this specific episode. Oh, yeah. Originally wanted to do a Day of the Dead episode. Didn't exactly manage to get that one because of all of the Oktoberfest and Brewers Week stuff that we did. So instead we're doing that to ourselves, unfortunately. Yeah. So instead we're doing a Cinco de Mayo episode here. All of our beers are Mexican style or inspired by Mexican culture. And I guess the first one we have is the Melvin Brewing Company's Jesus. So this is a Mexican-style lager, as we said before. We're sitting at 5.2% ABV and 25 IBUs. And it pours really, really clear. So this is a real light, translucent yellow hay color.
Oh, yeah. It looks kind of like a white wine. It's super see-through. Yeah, I guess we just had too many hazies and stuff on the show.
Yeah, this was very, very clear.
The trend is going to continue.
On first taste, it's really sweet, actually, for a lager. Usually those are just kind of straight yeast, wheat, kind of clean. It's very sweet and almost fruity, but I feel like it's more complex than most of the real basic, clean lagers that you'd get. I like that. So for myself, it's the Belching Beaver Deftones Phantom Bride. So inspired by the band Deftones and the song Phantom Bride. So this is a hazy IPA. It is, kind of, well, I'm not the person generally to describe beers, but it's kind of a reddish, orangish, 7.1% ABV, 60 IBUs. Straight off the gate, this is definitely a solid hazy IPA. The smell is just so aromatic and so fruity and full. Not exactly tropical, more citrusy than tropical, but definitely a good start. 60 IBUs is not a lie. It's definitely got some bitterness to it that I think, Gary, you're glad you're not drinking it. Probably. Cory, for you had the one that people were fighting over.
Yeah, so this was the Stone Chocovesa Imperial Stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. It's 8.1% and 50 IBUs. So somehow I got the super dark beer, but it's hot chocolate beer. So, of course, I said, hell yeah, I want to drink this.
And can you explain why you guys were fighting over it, and particularly, why I, who am the dark beer guy, just was nah, not this one?
Yeah, so this is a stout brewed with chocolate, coffee, pasilla peppers, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And as you guys probably know, Drew is allergic to peppers, and so even if he would love this beer, he cannot drink it. So I had to take one for the team.
Yeah, I could taste it and, just do like the wine, swish it around, spit it out, whatever. But
yeah, we had a couple spicy beers, and I just think it's interesting when people start brewing beers with peppers. I've had a couple, and I'm not the biggest fan, but maybe this one will change my mind. So right away, it's just jet black. It had a really good head on it. It's been sitting for a little bit, but it smells like a stout, and I'm getting a little bit of the vanilla and the cinnamon. It's got that milk chocolate notes. Not usually it's usually the dark chocolate notes that you'd expect in a stout, but this is more of a milk chocolate, and that's why I think it's inspired by hot chocolate, not just chocolate notes.
Yeah,
I'm not getting any spiciness, but there's a lot of bitterness on the back end, which you'd expect in an Imperial stout. But it says it's 8.1, but I can't taste any alcohol, and it's extremely smooth. It's really good.
All right. Well, let's get into the beginning of the end of our set review here. Starting off with the Multicolored Uncommons. So remember that with this set, the emphasis was on enemy colored pairs. And so you'll see that as we go through this, that there's the Signpost creature, the Signpost spell, and then like a Mutate creature in the enemy colors. So first one is Orzhov. We have the General's Enforcer, just for a white and a black. We've got a creature, Human Soldier, that's a 2/3, already a pretty good rate. Legendary humans you control have Indestructible. That's a very powerful thing in and of itself, because there's a lot of legendary creatures, especially in like the Death and Taxes, the Orzhov version of that one, pretty strong. A lot of legends. And then 2 white black, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 1/1 white Human Soldier creature token. So built-in grave 8. Mana sinks are always good in limited. The fact that you might be able to actually get value off of it further, pretty solid.
Yeah, I think this is also going to see a lot of play in standard, just because of the grave hate and just exiling escape cards from Theros and just like getting rid of gods and stuff like that. Super useful.
Yeah, it's got a pretty heavy activated cost, but a 2/3 for 2 mana is pretty solid.
Agreed. Our next spell here is Dire Tactics. This is one we talked about in our overview. It really stuck out to us. We got white and a black for an instant exile target creature. If you don't control a human, you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. So just a really, really solid, cheap, instant exile creature.
It's like an inverse swords.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think we talked about before.
Black. But I don't know, exile effects are really, really strong, especially in standard with all the gods and escape creatures and stuff that we've talked about.
Yeah, anything that's indestructible, or I don't know, I think since we've got War of the Spark, all of the gods that shuffle back in, like we have way too many overly recursive creatures. So
yeah,
let's get rid of those.
Yeah. And I don't know, you always look for 2 mana removal spells. They're always the boogeyman of pre-releases and stuff. So the last one we've got is Necro Panther. It's a 1 white and a black for a 3/3 cat nightmare. Its mutate cost is 2 colorless and 2 Orzhov hybrid mana. And it has, whenever this creature mutates, return target creature card with greater mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
So this is one of the most powerful mutate creatures in the set, just outright. If you have any discard effects, any way that you're sacrificing creatures, anything like that, if your mutate gets blown up, like any of those options that puts creatures in your graveyard, you can get them back super easy with this guy. And remember that mutate triggers every single time you mutate onto it. So the first time it's great, second time it's still great, third time like you're just never going to not get value off of this mutate effect.
Yeah,
unless you don't have anything in your graveyard, in which case you're probably already winning anyway, so why are you complaining? All right, so let's move on to Boris. Where Boris?
Boris.
All right, so we've got Savai Thundermane for red and white, just classic Boros. He's an elemental cat. Whenever you cycle a card, you may pay 2. When you do, it deals 2 damage, start creature, and you gain 2 life. It's also just a 3/2. So again, really good rate, and the effect is pretty damn solid, especially when we have so many like 1 mana cyclers. Cycle plus 2, and you basically get Lightning Helix. Can't be mad at that.
Yeah, a little baby version.
So the next one we got is Zenith Slayer, 2 red white for an instant. Zenith Slayer deals X damage to any target and you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with a cycling ability in your graveyard. This one seems, obviously it's a build around, but it seems like it could be really strong. It also seems like there are going to be several situations in which you wish you had something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card does require setup, but I think that this card is actually pretty fairly costed, considering that there are so many like 1 and 2 mana cyclers. I think that you hit this for 3 and you're pretty happy with it, I think.
Yeah, it's a six-way swing, so...
Yeah, it's not like actually Lightning Helix, but it's as close as I think we're going to get in the modern age without just like actually reprinting Lightning Helix.
Yeah, the last one we have is Regal Leo Sword, which is a red and white for a 2/2. Its mutate cost is 1 generic and 2 hybrid Boros mana. Whenever this creature mutates, other creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. So for potentially 3 mana, pumping your whole team, +2/+1, I'd play that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, just on its own, right? Like if you look at this instead of as a creature or as a like mutate addition to a creature is just a spell, like this is pretty solid. Like you run that pretty happily, but you do have to consider that it is sorcery speed. So if you have a way to influence that, affect it to make it a bit quicker, then that card just starts to get pretty damn busted. But if you're able to have a wide board and have like some cheap mutate effects, then you could easily just call this a finisher.
Yeah, especially if you can double up on this effect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Pumping +4/+2. Yeah, you're probably gonna get them.
Yeah. So let's get on to Is It. First one we have is Sprite Dragon. I'm pretty stoked on this card. When it was spoiled, I was so pumped on it. So it's blue and red. Again, just Is It for a 1/1 fairy dragon. Already all on board with this one. It's got flying and haste. More just like good text. And then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sprite Dragon. Not just until end of turn, counter.
It's like even better prowess.
Yeah.
Way better prowess.
And I love prowess.
Prowess is busted.
Out of prowess. And this is just like I'm gonna put this in my storm deck and I'm gonna have fun with it. You know, like it's not gonna help me combo out, but it sure is gonna kill someone.
Oh yeah, you can easily make this a 10/10, 15/15, no problem.
Yeah.
So our signpost spell is Channeled Force. It's 2 blue and a red for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard X cards. Target player draws X cards. Channeled Force deals X damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker.
Yeah. I love this card. I love things that make me discard. People like always try and figure out why. I don't know. It's just fun to fill up my bin like when I want to do it. So I'm pretty stoked to see what we can do with this card and how broken we can actually make it.
Yeah, I do like how you get to draw cards because a lot of these effects, you just discard your hand and do the damage. This at least gets you back in the game.
And it's rummaging, not looting, which is kind of shitty.
Yeah. But. So our mutate creature is Lore Dracus. It's 1 blue and a red for a 2/3 lizard beast, and its mutate is just 2 hybrid Is It mana. Whenever this creature mutates, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So all those things you just discarded to Channel Force, boom, you get one of them back.
Got him.
Yeah, but it's going to be the most impactful one, right? And thing is that there's no implication on here for exiling that card. Usually you have something like that. It's like a flashback effect. This one, you can just keep doing that. You play your best spell 20 times in a game if you have the mutate around it.
Yeah, I think everybody loves Archaeomancer. Everyone hates Archaeomancer. But it's kind of, you had to jump to the hoops, but it's a 2 mana Archaeomancer.
It's 2 mana.
I believe they call it Wicked Good.
Yeah, those are the hoops.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys, this next card here makes me love Simic so much.
Yeah, so
already.
I mean, Simic is probably the best non-black color combination in the game, but
I think it's just the best.
First one, the signpost creature is also a mutate creature, but they have one that is just a dedicated mutate creature. So this is Parcel Beast for 2 green, blue. It's an elemental beast, and it's a 2/4. It's got mutate for just green and blue, and for 1 and tap it. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put that card onto the battlefield. If you don't put that card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand.
What it's saying is for 2 mana, you can turn any of your fucking creatures into that, plus whatever their power and toughness is. I'm so in.
Yeah, it is a tap effect, so I don't necessarily want it on most of my creatures, but on its own, like, it's absolutely fine. And to cheat it out for 2 less mana than its actual casting cost, I'm like, yeah, I'll tack that onto a creature.
See, these to me are the mutate creatures that are going to really impact the game where you're not playing Voltron. You're mutating multiple creatures and like really spreading it out and creating a really good variable board state. You know what I mean? Instead of just loading up one big fat fatty and trying to kill somebody.
Thing is, though, is that sometimes you play kind of defensive in a Voltron strategy, and this is one of the cards that can be tacked on there. And if you're not swinging out, or if you've got vigilance, things like that, on the end of whoever's turn is before you, you're either ramping or getting a card. Okay, for 1 mana, I'll do that.
Thrasios effect.
Yeah, and the fact is that it is a mutate creature, right? Which means that you don't have to worry about the summoning sickness for the tap effect in most cases.
All right, and our signpost spell is Primal Empathy, 1 green and a blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control.
So Wizards have been doing this a lot with enchantments in Simic.
And I feel like on paper, they always look weaker than they are. Like you're thinking, oh, most of the time I'm probably just going to get a +1/+1, but these get out of control like quick.
So last one we have is our mutate creature. It's Trumpeting Gnar. It's 1 green and a blue for a 3/3 beast. Its mutate cost is 3 and 2 Simic hybrid mana. Whenever this creature mutates, create a 3/3 green beast creature token.
You guys, this is one of those ones that I saw early on and went, oh, 5 mana, that's okay, that's good. And then went, no, we have other mutate creatures like Parcel Beasts that only cost 2. This is where I see like the real value engines coming out is you play things at the smaller rate and mutate them with the cheaper mutate costs. And all of a sudden you're like, God damn, for 5 mana, I've got a 3/3 and I drew a card and I like this guy.
This is also one of the ones that you're looking at as like, oh, this is, avoiding the Voltron strategy. It's like, no, this is what helps reinforce your Voltron strategy so that you don't only have one creature that, they have to
you don't get blown out. But yeah, I think that's a good point, Garion, because usually when you look at the mutate cost, you're like, okay, I'm going to cast this for its mutate cost. But I think this card is way better being as a base for other mutates.
You just cast this regular and then mutate onto it a bunch.
Yeah. The only time you cast this for its mutate is if you already have like a Voltron mutate creature set up. If you've got like a maximum merged creature, just
if you
it's later in the game anyways, I'm going to throw that on and just get all of the other triggers that are associated with it. All right, let's dive into the Golgari real quick. So Skull Prophet is our creature. It's just, again, Golgari mana, so black and green for a 3/1 human druid. 3/1 is the worst power and toughness rate for basically anything. So it has an effect, tap, add black or green. And another one, tap, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard.
Bro, did I just get a Golgari Landwar Elves that's better? I'm down.
Yeah, no, you got a bad Deathrite Shaman instead.
I mean, Deathrite Shaman is top tier.
Really good, yeah.
Exactly.
A bad version of Deathrite Shaman is okay.
Still pretty good.
Yeah,
I still like this card a lot, actually, even though it is weak.
I'm not saying this is bad.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really good in just ramp decks, but also really good in escape decks, just because loading your graveyard is just what they want to do. But I think this is going to see a lot of commander play as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think all of the uncommon mutate creatures are probably going to see some commander play. Just people are just going to fuck around and try and see what's good. And I think a card like this is like not necessarily like the pinnacle of what we want out of uncommon ramp, but like we need something that's not just ramp. It has to be doing something else. Yeah. And like this is such a perfect, like, flavorful thing for the set and just for Golgari in general that everybody's kind of on board with it.
Well, and what I do agree with you, like the 3/1 is a terrible toughness for this creature, but I think because a lot of these ramp cards are usually 1/1s, it just means that if need be, this card is just more aggressive and can actually get like significant amounts of damage through if it needs to.
Maybe,
you're never going to attack with this creature.
Yeah, I think I think having a 3/1 is better because it can trade up. And usually with your mana dorks and stuff like that, you want to have them with a higher toughness so they can stay alive and you can get more use out of them.
Yeah, because in the past we've been getting 1/3s for basically the same thing. Right, and now we got a 3/1, which is more aggressive, but I don't know if this set and this specific color pairing needs that aggressiveness, because I think that there's other things that amplify it.
Yeah, I
think this is a really, really good mutate target. All right, so our Signpost Golgari spell is back for more. 4 black and a green for an instant. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. When you do, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. It's expensive, but it's
way too expensive.
Also really fucking good, dude. Like with the mill that you've got going on, the big fatties that you might throw in green. I kind of like it. Like I don't want to draw this turn 1 or 2, but I like it.
This card is going to be good and limited. I don't see that it's going to have that much impact elsewhere because we just have way more efficient stuff to do it.
Yeah, there's just better removal.
The fight, I don't know if you care that much about the fight in most situations. Most situations,
I think
this is
what
a
you
6
care about
for
the fight.
We already have way better removal spells in all of these colors and all of these color pairings for less.
Yeah. But what I usually see is when you're trying to finish with something like that and you're throwing a fatty back on the field, you want to be able to clear out so that you can get damage through. So it makes your bomb a little bit more of a bomb.
That's assuming that you have a bomb
like you said,
or been discarded or milled. Right, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through.
Which is what Golgari is trying to do, I think, but
I just don't think that...
Yeah, I think...
it's just too expensive.
Yeah, I think having it as an instant makes it a lot better because usually with these recursion effects... They're at sorcery speed.
4 mana sorcery speed.
But getting your biggest thing and removing one of their things on their end step, I think it makes this playable. I think, like both of you said, there's better options, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so our mutate creature is Boneyard Lurker. It's 2 black and a green for a 4/4 Nightmare Beast. And its mutate is 2 and 2 Golgari hybrid mana. So it's 4 mana CMC and 4 mana mutates. Whenever this creature mutates, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand.
So, free regrowth.
Less good.
Less good. I mean, considering all of the...
Well, then the ones that return it to the battlefield.
Yeah, regrowth versus reanimate. I mean, obviously, there's a very big power difference there. But I think that if you're looking at this as a free tacked-on effect, like a free regrowth, because it is just permanence, right?
It's the same rate.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's actually easier to cost at mutate.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just
I think this is playable.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a 4/4 for 4 at the very worst. And if you mutate and get 1 or 2 things back during a game, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's the first one that you get is where your value is fine. Because 4/4 for 4, you're probably playing anyways. The mutate making it easier to tack onto something. Additional mutates that can happen are just the bonus. And then anything that mutates when you mutate it is just a free effect.
Yeah.
Plus it just automatically makes whatever you were mutating it into a 4/4. Because I think that most mutate creatures are weaker than that.
And I could tell that you guys weren't going to comment on it, so I'm just going to say the artwork is so fucking metal. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty hardcore.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the allied colors. There's a less impactful pool of these colors.
Yeah, so these are the cards that basically just care about which abilities you control. And in this set, with the keyword counters, you can just start giving people abilities left and right.
Yeah.
So I think originally these would be harder to build around unless you had a dedicated flying deck, for instance. But just being able to give whatever you need flying, I think makes these cards a lot better and a lot easier to work with.
Yeah.
Agreed. So our first one here is Jubilant Sky Bonder. It's 1 and 2 split cost Azorius mana for a 2/2 creature human wizard. He has flying, and creatures you control with flying have spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost 2 more to cast. So inherently a little bit more protected.
So usually with effects like these, they count other creatures, but this one just says creatures you control flying cost 2 more to cast. So right away, it's just a 2/2 with flying for 3 that is harder to target with removal.
Right. And
super good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's great, but there's always a blue-white skies deck in most draft environments. And so they're super, super weak to removal that's cheap because most of them are pretty small. So having something like this makes it so that you have a lot more resilience than what you normally have for a blue-white skies deck, especially with the keyword counters being thrown around everywhere.
Yeah, I really like this cycle. So next one we have is Alert Heat Bonder. It's 1 and 2 Selesnya hybrid mana for a 2/4 human scout with vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, you gain 1 life for each creature you control with vigilance. So right away, it's just a 2/4 vigilance for 3 that gains life at the end of each of your turns.
So next one is the Dimir one, Cunning Night Bonder. For 2 Dimir hybrid mana, it's a 2/2. Human Rogue Flash. Spells with Flash you cast cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. So again, Flash is a super powerful mechanic, abused everywhere. Trying to build Flash Tribal, I don't know if it's necessarily viable, but if you look at the Azorius cards from the most recent Ravnica set, or Ravnica block rather, there's a lot of things that grant it Flash if you meet a certain condition. So there's like a lot of standard abusability in Esper, and obviously Flash is just a powerful mechanic in Commander, so having the can't be countered tag on there, for 2 mana, this thing is way undercosted.
Oh yeah, I think this is the only one out of these that'll see Commander play, just because we love giving everything Flash.
Gary, and the next one has your favorite keyword.
Yeah, we've got Sonorous Howell Bonder, 1 and 2 split cost Rakdos mana for a 2/2 creature human warrior with Menace. Each creature you control with Menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures.
Super Menace.
It's a double Menace.
I love it.
And we're trying to throw around Menace counters here.
Yeah, I don't think there's that many that actually add any of these keyword counters, but if you can like actually do a good build around, then this card will just absolutely just destroy the game.
I mean, this slots into all those Pioneer zombie fucking decks if they want to start running 2 colors.
They don't even have to. This is 1 black in those decks.
Oh, that's true. I'm a Commander player. I forget
The
that.
thing is that
Fuck.
that's 3 mana, and you already have to have other creatures with Menace to really be getting that value in Pioneer. I don't know if it's strong enough for that, but
I think all those fucking zombies get Menace most of the time. There's at least 2 of them that gives all other zombies Menace, so I think this would be gross.
Yeah, so the last one we have is Proud Wild Bonder. It's 2 and 2 Gruul hybrid mana for a 4/3 human warrior with Trample. Creatures you control with Trample you may have this creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked.
that's a pretty strong ability.
Yeah, because usually you never want to block things with Trample because it's just going to be a waste because they're going to get damage anyways. And this just makes it even harder to block things with Trample.
Well, this makes it 100% worthless. Yeah, because usually sometimes you're like, all right, I'm just going to mitigate a couple of these and we'll move on. You can't do it.
Yeah, but I think you
Although
have
at least
to.
you keep your
Right,
creatures,
exactly.
but still.
And so like if you care about like blocking and things like that, then I guess. But yeah, this is just one of those that is just absolutely mind-fucking in combat. And combat sometimes can be already a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and this one, it's just a 4/3 that's basically going to deal damage no matter what. It's going to do 4 damage.
Well, and what's worse is it says you may have. So like the blocking player has to decide, do I want to risk losing these creatures? Because maybe they don't take any damage. Maybe they do.
All right. So next and last is for uncommons and commons, we've got our lands. So we've got the gain lands from, I think, originally from Tarkir. And they're replacing some of the basics in packs. I think the quote was just about half. And so I have no idea how many are actually being replaced. And it's all 10 colored pairs that are in there. And then got a new Evolving Wilds art, which is pretty dope. I have no idea if that's just a normal common in the set or if that's going to be replacing some lands, because I would love it to replace some lands, because I'd love to just always have Evolving Wilds in my draft deck.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got artifacts. So first one is Sleeper Dart. For 2 generic, we've got an artifact. When Sleeper Dart enters the battlefield, draw a card and tap. Sacrifice Sleeper Dart. Target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap. So I don't really care about the activated ability. 2 generic for an artifact ATB draw card, I think could be pretty decent. Granted, this is in a set where we have really easy cycling, but I think some artifact decks might like this. It's kind of hard to evaluate, but a decent like tap down effect for when you're trying to get rid of a big creature from your opponents, or just allow you to swing in.
Yeah, I think it's really good just because having a one-time removal spell that replaces itself basically.
Yeah.
And you can sit around. You don't need to hold up mana for it.
Yeah.
I think that's really strong.
One of the issues with most artifact removal spells is that you sacrifice them, they don't replace themselves. You're drawing a card off of it. It's colorless, like it goes in basically every deck. Gets like slows their finisher, enables yours. Like there's a lot going on with this. And at common for 2 colorless.
I'll play it.
Next we have a cycle. It is the crystal cycles. So we have Indatha, Kestria, Raugrin, Sovai, and Zagoth crystals. And those are the Abzan, Temur, Jeskai, Mardu, and Sultai, respectively. These things are dope because they are a 3 generic ramp card for 3 colors, and they also just have cycling 2, because we all know that sometimes you just...
So much better.
You just need to get rid of a card in your hand because ramp isn't always going to help you.
Yeah, I think just tacking on cycling onto just anything automatically makes it better. And so these automatically supersede the previous mana rocks that do these colors just because cycling. Just having more options on a card in any format helps.
Yeah, I think that the other ones were the banners, and you'd sacrifice them to draw a card.
Banners, yeah.
And so very similar, but like you don't have to spend extra mana to do it. You actually spend less mana to get your cycle effect, unless you care about like sacrificing artifacts or artifact ETBs. And obviously the other ones are better, but I think that in most situations people are just going to default to these. And again, it kind of sets precedence for wizards to print the other cycle in Zendikar.
That'd be sweet.
All right, let's finally get to the rares. Let's do the monocolored and then we'll dive back into the beers.
Sure.
All right, so there's actually a lot to the monocolored rares. It's just cycles for days. So there's a mutate creature. There's an ability creature, which kind of explain, it's like ETB or like triggered ability. And then we have a game state effect. And that is kind of a loose term that I've going through these. And again, you'll understand when we get more into them. So the first one is Cub Warden for 3 and a white. It is a creature. It is a cat. It's a 3/5 and has mutate for 2 white. Has lifelink, and whenever this creature mutates, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink.
Like that.
So this one, like, the more you read on it, the more you like it. It's just going to be a very good card. Like, you want to mutate on top of it. You want this to mutate on top of other things. Like, this card's just gravy.
Yeah.
All right, up next we've got Lavabrink Venturer. 2 and a white for a 3/3 creature human soldier. As Lavabrink Venturer enters the battlefield, choose odd or even. It has protection from each converted mana cost of the chosen value.
So again, this is one of the ability creatures. It has that ETB ability when it enters battlefield. White loves protection, and they're trying to make protection less good while still reprinting it.
Yeah, they've been doing it in different ways, but I think this card's interesting. You basically just, if you play it, you choose whatever the best removal spells in your format are, and you get protection from that.
Or just whatever, like, the commonality is on creatures your opponents control, right? Protection does protect against creatures, so like, go ahead and swing for days with this guy. Like, honestly, I feel like there's some Voltron strategies you can have with this, assuming you don't host yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to carefully plan your deck with this guy.
Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves. Plan carefully.
So last one we have is Drannit Magistrates. 1 and a white for a 1/3 human wizard. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands.
So we've
talked about this one.
Yeah, we talked about this one in our kind of spoiler hype set review mashup, whatever it was there. This card's very strong. Hate Bears just got another like easy addition.
Yeah, so this shuts off commanders, escape, companions, just all of it.
All right, so let's dive into blue. So we've got the Sea Dasher Octopus for 1 blue. It's creature octopus, mutate for 1 and a blue. Already just like very good stuff. It's a 2/2 with flash. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card.
Shit.
So I think this is the only flash mutate creature, but it's also like way too good as a flash mutate.
I think this is easily one of the best.
Yeah. All right, and the next one, just a nice ability thrown onto a creature.
The better shark artwork in this set. We've got Voracious Great Shark, 3 blue for a 5/4 creature shark with flash. When Voracious Great Shark enters the battlefield, counter target artifact or creature spell. I think, I don't...
5/4 for 5 with flash?
I was going to say, I don't play a whole lot of control, but this feels like one of those ones that once you're at your top end and you're ready to cash in on a big creature, there's no downside to this guy because you're going to do that shit anyway.
Like, this is the biggest like issue with control, generally speaking, in limited environments is that you have your sweeper, or your, not sweeper, but your finisher, right? And you have to tap out for that guy.
Right.
And that means that you have that turn where you're playing your sweeper that you aren't protecting it. And so this is potentially both.
Right.
Right. It is a finisher that is going to beat down in 4 turns. It is a clock, but it also just allows you to play the extra control strategy on top of that.
Yeah, usually I think 5 mana counterspells are shit, but the fact that this
What
is
if it's a creature that's a 5/4?
that makes it better. But the fact that it only targets artifacts or creatures, I think that makes it a lot more playable
Worse.
in limited and standard environments when you get rid of their big finisher. But against certain strategies, I don't think it's not gonna counter a spell. It's just gonna be a 5/4 flash, which is still pretty dope.
Which is, I was going to say, that's entirely okay.
Yeah.
Like, you love flash creatures in control decks just because you play your turn basically the same way.
Yeah.
Which is, you don't play anything on your turn.
Yeah.
I need to play more control because it just sounds so fun. Even though it's douchey, I like it.
It's great. So the last one we have is Shark Typhoon. It's the Sharknado card. It's 5 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost, and it has cycling for X, 1 and a blue. When you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So, like we always say, cycling is at instant speed, and being able to make instant speed dudes is super powerful. 6 mana is a lot, but I think this is a good top end for decks that want to storm off or cast a lot of very cheap non-creature spells, because you can easily flood the board with this guy. I think you'll see Commander play, not only because it's a meme, but because 6 mana is super easy to get and then keep going.
I feel like being a meme almost guarantees Commander play somewhere. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's going to be a weird standard Sharknado deck that people try and run. Maybe Jeskai Sharks.
All right, let's get to black. We've got the Dirge Bat. For 2 black. It is a 3/3 bat creature for its mutate cost of 4 black. So this is one of the more expensive of the mutates. Flash, flying, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. There's a reason why it's 6 mana for its mutate cost.
Because you're going to use the octopus on it.
Well, yeah, you could just load Octopi onto it.
I'm telling you guys, these are the ones that I feel like
you got to get.
If you're drafting, you're fucked. But like, I feel like these are the types of mutate cards that really have the impact. Like, to be able to just kill for 2 mana, 3 mana here, forget about it. Plus, it's a flyer with flash. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, on its own, like 4 mana flash flyer for 3, and that you then mutate other things onto to kill creatures. Like,
it's just the dopest of bats.
The big thing. Yeah, the big thing on this one is not just that it kills creatures. It's the fact that it'll actually kill planeswalkers, which is not an effect that we see very often at like this power level. Because I think that this is actually really, really, really strong. Because a flyer is already planeswalker removal.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best mutate bases you can have in this set. And like we said, the octopus is one of the best mutators, I guess.
Mutators.
Because you usually almost never want to make it into the octopus. You want to put the octopus on something better. And on this one, you almost never want to cast it for its mutate cost.
But you do want to mutate it.
The Trumpeting Gnar.
This can be back.
Like, imagine this in the Trumpeting Gnar. You're blowing their shit up and also making tokens.
We've noted 3 cards from Sultai, so there's a reason. All right. Up next, we've got Hunted Nightmare. 1 black for a 4/5 creature nightmare with Menace. When Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control.
The hunted cards or pursued cards or whatever, I think they're a lot of fun. They kind of suck a lot of the time, but I think this one's good. Just because it is a lot of power for so cheap. Because a lot of the old hunted cards are a lot of mana for not very much. While this one, I think this is another good mutate target. Because if you can just somehow give it like flying or something, a 4/5 flying menace, that's not getting blocked.
Don't you have to mutate? Just put a flying counter on it. Yeah. Easy.
Boom.
That's a thing.
Okay, this last card is Extinction Event. It's 3 and a black for a sorcery. Choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. So this...
Excuse me?
Yeah.
This card's... It's hard to rate. Like, exiling for 4 mana, super good. But only getting potentially half of what's on the board, potentially not good. And
well, consider that black exile effects are usually like 5 mana for a single target.
Yeah.
This doesn't target, so you can get the thing that you want. And exile is just...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you'll always get exactly the one thing you want, but you might take some of your stuff with it. And so It's kind
that's
of
the same
hard
with
to
any board wipe,
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of hard to build around. That's why I think.
Not if you're in a deck that doesn't run the things that you're getting rid of.
Yeah, like you'd have to choose one or the other. But if their best thing is odd and you're in an odd deck, then you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that you run this in the Yannette deck that cares about odd stuff, and then you just name even, and your stuff is never going to get wiped. Like, this can be like a almost one-sided board wipe.
Sometimes it's better to just blow the whole board up for 4 mana.
Yeah.
Because
there's definitely
you can
better
reliably do that. Like this, I think that what you're going to hit fluctuates every time. But it is a versatile
absolutely.
card,
But
and it can always kill tokens. Like this hose,
And it's an
token
exile
decks.
effect, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do red. So
Ooh,
first
from
one we
the
have
best
is
to the worst.
Hey.
Everquill. Actually,
Just kidding.
red has some fucking spice here on the rares.
That's
So
true.
first one is Everquill Phoenix. For 2 red, we've got Creature Phoenix. Mutate for 3 in a red, and it's a 4/4. Has flying, and whenever this creature mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with 1 and sacrifice Feather. Return target Phoenix card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So we still have Arclight Phoenix.
Yeah.
We have the potential to run a bunch of these. The activation is instant speed. It makes an artifact, which red also loves. There's just a lot of good things going with this one. Individually, they're okay. Together, they make a card that's pretty well designed and cohesive. I kind of wrote that this is a Phoenix tribal card, but then I read it again, and it's only when it mutates that it does that. So it's not the best, but if you continue to mutate on this one, then hopefully you have other Phoenixes. Otherwise, it's going to fall flat. But it does allow you to kind of recklessly use this card in scenarios where you probably would want to play cautiously otherwise. Because if you have multiple of the feather artifacts, then you just keep chump blocking, throwing this away. You continue to get it back. But you have to build that state in order to get there.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Phoenixes are hit and miss. Like sometimes, like Arclight Phoenix is super easy to build around and just get recurring value all the time. And there's a couple like this one that are slower and harder, and you need to have a more solid build around or a lot more hoops to jump through. Like the fact that this has to mutate to get this, I think it just limits it so much.
So the golden strategy that I saw on this one was to have 2 of the Phoenixes. You do the BS with the first Phoenix, it comes back. Then you mutate the second one onto that Phoenix. They both mutate, you get 2, and then you bring both back. But that's like essentially only 3 creatures for the cost of all of that.
He doesn't have haste, though, which is probably the worst part about it.
But
that is why they come in back, though, is so that you can do it on the end step of your opponent, and then it essentially does have haste.
Yeah, and you can also circumvent haste with the mutate.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got Yadara Wandering Monster for 5 red. It's an 8/8 legendary creature dinosaur turtle. It's got trample, and it's got haste. And its cycling cost is 1 and a red. When you cycle Yadara Wandering Monster, shuffle it into your library from your graveyard. If you cycled a card named Yadara Wandering Monster 4 or more times this game, put it onto the battle from your graveyard instead. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I love it. It's so cool.
I'm so on board with this card.
You're just flying through your deck and paying an extra mana for an 8/8 for draw 4.
Yeah, because you might not ever get it in a game, but cycling twice in a game, I think that's pretty sweet. And then maybe getting an 8/8 trample haste that'll just win you the game outright. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, this is one of the few big dumb fatties that's a legendary that you're no, I'm actually going to run 4 of in my standard deck, because your goal is to never cast it. Right?
Yeah.
Even if you're playing a big red deck, you're never casting it. You're just cycling it, and as long as you've you've done it 4 times, right?
4 or more, so you get it every time after as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Just imagine,
and the cycling is going to help you get to that point as well, right? It's helping you draw more cards.
Yeah.
This card in blue-red cycling, discard draw deck, I think is this is the finisher that cycling doesn't really have right now, and I think that's
but that it always dreamed of.
yeah, just
well, I think it's a ridiculous way to do cycling.
just
I love it.
Dream Hand is 4 of these and 3 mana in your opening hand, and then you just start cycling 1 every turn, and then you get up to 2 each turn. And then soon you're refilling hand with good stuff, and you're just cheating out 8/8s.
Well, the 4th time you do it would be on turn 4 And so on turn 4, you're cracking in with 2. No, I guess it's 1 because it's legendary.
Yeah,
but
that is my biggest hang-up. The fact that it's a legendary creature is good for standard and 60-card formats because you can't have 4 of these running around. But the fact that it's a legendary creature
makes it unplayable.
It makes it shit in Commander, unless you have Command Beacon or bounce effects, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be a fun, stompy mono red deck. 8/8 trample haste.
Yeah, the problem is that it's 7 mana for an 8/8
in
trample
mono red.
haste.
Yeah.
Like, we already have better creatures for less, like a 5 mana 6/6 that also sneak attack stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't really do anything else for any of your other cards in your deck as your commander.
Yeah.
It's kind of a self-centered little beast.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
All right,
Speaking of
Cory,
fun
you've
cards,
talked about this one before.
we've got Unpredictable Cyclone. It's 3 red for an enchantment. If a cycling ability of another non-land card would cause you to draw a card, instead exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a card that shares a card type with the cycled card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then put the exiled cards that were cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order, and has cycling for 2. So let's just say we're playing in the Yodaro deck. We have 4 of them. We have Unpredictable Cyclone out. Cycle for 2. You get a Yodaro. You cast an 8/8 Trample Haste.
Trample haste.
For 7 mana for free.
Gross.
I like that.
It's just
Obviously,
thumbs
this
up.
card, it's very aptly named because it's Unpredictable Cyclone. So you don't even know what you're going to get. It's going to be hard to build around, but I think it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that Unpredictable Cyclone is exactly the chaosy cheat stuff out stuff that red wants and kind of needs right now, because there's not really a good way to do that for yourself. It's usually like a randomized effect for your opponent's stuff. And so to have something like this where you can just be like, well, I'm just going to cycle my own shit and see what happens. Spin the wheel, bitch.
Yeah, because you're cycling anyway. There's just an upside to it.
Last of the monocolored, we got green. So first one here is Gem Razor. So this is our Mutate Creature for 3 and green. We have a 4/4 with Mutate, 1 green. So this goes into the Beast deck. It's also just one of the commander staples, I think, for Mutate because it has Reach, Trample, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls.
This is bullshit. Like you take the destroy creature or planeswalker, it's got to be way more expensive, but we give this guy a cheaper rate. This guy's really good. I like him a lot.
I think that he's cheaper on his Mutate because standard generally doesn't rely on artifacts and enchantments. And the artifacts that are the super powerful ones are also indestructible.
True.
Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely less impactful, but it's still just
But Reach Trample 4/4 for 4 is solid.
Reach Trample 4/4 for 3 is even better.
Like if you can mutate onto it later and get that kind of bonus value, like your opponents have to kind of think, okay, at what point do I actually put down my artifacts and enchantments if I know that they have the potential to just blow it up later, right?
Yeah.
And I think my favorite thing about this is you just said Pacifism, and there's also Capture Sphere.
Yeah.
They're going to want to target this, which is hilarious because then you just mutate onto it, blow the thing up, and now you can attack with it that same turn. Yeah, and so exactly, breaks out of its own cage.
If you want to talk about an enchantment that's worth targeting, there's some dumb shit called Colossification in this set. For 5 green, you get an enchantment aura. Enchant creature, when Colossification enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. An enchanted creature gets +20/+20.
Yeah, so this one...
What?
I'm not going to let that sit.
Yeah, this one was hilarious because it doesn't have trample. And so I'm just like, always think, put on a Llanowar Elves. That's a scary Llanowar Elves, but goddamn is it not doing anything.
Nope.
Yeah, I think this one, usually with big effects, they're easy. You just put them in mono green stompy and you'll be chilling. But this one, the fact that it taps the guy, I think it just costs you a whole turn. So I think you kind of have to do a different build around for this.
Pro
There's a lot
strat.
of fun decks.
You put on your opponent's thing, and tap it down, and then swing for the win.
Yep. What I want to do as soon as I saw this card is just make a fling deck with this. But the problem is it's 7 mana. And in fling decks, you're usually trying to be as low costed as possible. But if you can do it.
So we skipped over our ability creature. Cory, you like weird, ridiculous creatures. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, so this is the King Kong. It's Kogla, the Titan Ape. It's 3 green for a 7/6 legendary creature ape. When it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Whenever Kogla attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls, and you can pay 1 and a green, return target human you control to its owner's hands. Kogla gains indestructible until end of turn. I think this is a ton of flavor because it is really King Kong. I think this would be a fun commander too because it's got everything you want. It's just mono green removal and it can protect itself.
Assuming that you're running humans in your mono green deck, which elves are more likely, but if you can find good green humans, that's fine. Before we jump into the multicolored rares, let's actually just dive.
Them beers.
Rainier.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got the Jesus by Melvin. It is sweet. It is a little bit fruit-y maybe. It's not, it doesn't have a lot of body. You know what I mean? It's really, really clean. Disappears from the palette like that. You know what I mean? To me, this is comparable to, like we were saying, the real easy drinking, clear domestics that are just like cheap, buy 12 and suck them down. But it's got enough complexity that I wouldn't complain about it if someone passed it to me at the the bonfire or whatever. It's nothing special, but it is good. It's a good, sweet little beer.
Me personally, I've still got the Belching Beavers Deftones Phantom Bride. It is a hazy IPA. 60 IBUs actually kind of settles down after it's been sitting for a bit. The first couple tastes, definitely that hot bitterness that kind of kicks your teeth in, but it's got this kind of citrusy passion fruit, almost like sweetness, that weird kind of tropical, but like tropical adjacent flavor. It's good stuff, honestly. Got a nice little malt body to it, smooth, not as crisp as what we like out of a certain IPA, but I'm not going to complain at all on this one. Belgian Beaver makes mostly good shit. They have one peanut butter beer that needs to go away, but aside from that, all Gucci.
Yeah, I think we've got all three really good breweries, like Belching Beaver, Melvin, and I've got Stone. Like all the beers we've had from them, solid.
So how was the Choco Vesa?
So I had the Stone Choco Vesa Imperial Stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. It was 8.1%. I think it was like 50 IBUs or something like that. But all that's just the malt bitterness that you'd expect from Stout. And it definitely tastes like hot chocolate. It's got a lot of body, like it just lingers, and it's got that Imperial Stout, just dark malty bitterness that you want in, especially a Stone Stout. Like they have some really good stouts, but I never got any of the heat. The pasilla peppers, they never really came through, but the nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla notes, they all blended really, really well with the hot chocolate. It's super smooth, super easy drinking. Like especially when it comes to Imperial Stouts, usually me personally, I have to kind of choke them down and take my time, but I had to actually pressure myself to not just drink this because it is so smooth, and it's a lot sweeter than other Imperial Stouts that I've had. A lot of those is the malt sweetness, but this definitely has that chocolate sweetness, and it does have some of those dark chocolate bitter notes that you look for in chocolate stouts, stuff like that. But this is sort of like a milk stout and a chocolate stout. It's good. It's good. I like it.
Well, shall we dive back into some multicolored shenanigans?
Yes, sir.
All right.
These cards are dope.
Yeah, so the multicolored rares that we're going to start with here are the allied colored creatures. They all have that same abilities matter kind of sub-theme that we see out of the allied colors for this set. First one for white, blue. We've got Sky Cat Sovereign, and it is a 1/1 elemental cat. It's got flying, and it gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. And for 2 white, blue, create a 1/1 white cat bird creature token with flying.
Is there a name for that non-anthem effect? What is that called?
I don't know if they have a name for it.
Yeah, it's a reverse anthem, right?
There is one, huh?
Instead of one thing buffing everything, it's everything buffing that one thing.
So cool.
Yeah, this card.
I love this.
Yeah, this card is really, really strong. I just love that you can just dump mana into it to get flying tokens, right? Usually you do that and you just get like a soldier token or something like that. For 4 mana, it's worth getting that just as a mana sink later in the game.
Yeah, and usually the mana sinks like this, they just make a token and it just doesn't do anything. But this one has flying.
Buffs.
So it automatically buffs your dude. I think this is a really easy build around. If you just run 4 of these, you're playing 2 mana 4/4s for flying all day. I'll do that.
2 mana 4/4s that spend another 4 mana, and they all become 5/5s, then 6/6. And
this is like 7 dwarves, but way better.
Yeah. And in white-blue, so just better colors.
All right, for Selesnya, we've got Frondland Felidar, 2 green and a white for a 3/5 creature cat beast with vigilance. Creatures you control with vigilance have 1 in a tap target creature. I think this is a really good extra weapon for the vigilance deck.
This is like the perfect thing for a vigilance deck, right? Like tap down stuff is always good. Having it on something with vigilance where you're tapping it as well, like it allows you to play defensively while playing offensively, which is what vigilance always does. And this allows you to then reverse that by playing offensively, by playing defensively.
Yeah, usually with tap effects like these, you have to either choose to attack or use the tap effect and play defensively. But like you just said, Drew, this lets you play attack and defense.
Yeah.
Next one we got is Slitherwisp.
This card.
It's blue, black for a 3/2 elemental nightmare creature with flash. Whenever you cast another spell that has flash, you draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life.
So flash is already a very good
Yeah.
mechanic. This card, I look at this card and I say, well, what commander do I know that is in Dimir that has flash? And then I say, I don't care. I want everything else to have flash. I'm playing sorceries and I'm giving them flash. I'm doing all of the flash shit just so I can play this card because this card is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it just refills your hand and drains your opponents. Like usually to draw a card, you have to lose life, but this lets you draw cards and makes them lose life.
Yeah, this card, like the only, like I guess bad part about this is that it cares about the other things, whereas all of these other ones care about like themselves as well in their ability.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense that it has to be on the battlefield for it to see that flash. But
yeah,
it would have been easy for them to tack on when you cast this spell or when it enters the battlefield, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be too good though.
But he's not legendary, so you're playing 4 copies.
Yeah, and something that I forgot to note on these allied colored ones is that they show the creature types for the colors. I think blue has like elemental, nightmare, and cats, something like that. But each wedge has the three colors and 3 creature types in it. And we'll see that with the apexes, which we'll talk about. But certain color pairs are going to have certain creature types in it. And these allied colors show it really well. Just a side note.
Yeah, it looks like blue is elementals, white is cats, green is beasts, black is nightmares, and red, heavy on them, dinosaurs.
Makes sense across the board. All right, so next one, Garion.
Yep, up next we've got the Lab Rat. We've got Labyrinth Raptor. It's black and a red for a 2/2 creature nightmare dinosaur with menace. Whenever a creature you control with menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. Black and a red, creatures you control with menace get +1/+0 until end of turn.
So we always talk about how hard it is to evaluate menace and blocking. This card just absolutely...
This makes it easier.
Yeah, I mean, your shit's going to get blown up anyways. Right?
To evaluate.
Like, I'm just not blocking.
Yeah.
Or I'm blocking and I know which creature I'm sacrificing, so hopefully the other one can deal the damage I need.
Yeah, usually with menace, it's so hard to deal with it, and this just makes it even worse to deal with. And then the fact that even if you still block or don't block, you can still get pumped and take even more damage, or can kill whatever you tried to block with that didn't get sacrificed.
Yeah.
I think this is a really sweet build around.
Yeah, I am glad that it's just a power buff, because it does make the, oh, you didn't block? Let me pump that. But also means that, oh, you chose to block, you sacrificed that one, I'm going to pump it anyways, and you're making sure that...
still kill your other guy.
Yeah, it still kill your other guy, but it doesn't allow yours to survive, right? You're not changing the toughness on it to make sure that your creature can always survive those combats. And I think that's another just like part of the set that's just really good design.
Yeah.
The last one here, Quartz Wood Crowd. So we've got 2 red, green for a 6/6 dinosaur beast. Arguably one of the strongest of both tribes, in my opinion. It's got trample, and whenever one or more creatures you control with trample deal combat damage to a player, create an XX green dinosaur beast creature token with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt to that player. So the big keyword on dinosaurs and beasts is trample, and the fact that this just gets so much better.
Just keeps pumping out big, like fat XX
on its own
trample dinosaurs.
5 mana, 6/6 trample. dumping out creatures. Those creatures can then continue to dump out creatures. Like, this is just like a cascading effect that's just going to absolutely kill people. If this thing had haste, say from like Rhythm of the Wilds, something like that, this thing is just going to absolutely kill people so fast, because the first time it hits, it's going to hit so hard, and it's just going to pump out something that's going to continue to hit hard.
Yeah, I think another good thing to look at is when it attacks, usually swing out when you want to attack with trample stuff. And so this actually makes blockers for you to hold up.
That's true. I thought of that.
Like, even if you just make a 1/1, does it still block? So,
all right.
Yeah, the card's sick.
Next section here is just the companions. I kind of want to go through this relatively quickly just because the abilities themselves kind of speak for what they want to do. So first one we've got, and I asked Cory on these ones to re-rank them based on the power level of them. And I assume that we know who number 10 is. So we'll just go on to...
Yeah, I had some trouble because there's different ones for EDH that are easily way better in Commander, and then there's certain ones in Standard that are hot garbage, and so it was kind of a struggle to rank them, because the first couple, they're kind of good in a lot of formats, and then once we get going, they're only good in like 1 or 2 formats.
Right. So the first one we have is Zerda the Dawnwaker, 1 and 2 hybrid Boros mana for a legendary creature, Elemental Fox. It's a 3/3 and it has Companion. The Companion effect is each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. And for 1 and tap, target creature can't block this turn. So Cory, you put this one here because...
So this one, right away, it's just a 2-card infinite mana combo in EDH with Grim or Basalt Monolith. And...
Oh, you rank them from 10 to 1, not 1 to 10.
Yeah, so this is the best one.
Gotcha.
Well, this is the best one in EDH that's not banned. And the next one is the best one in all other formats.
Gotcha.
Well, Gyruda
yeah.
is actually destroying Legacy and Vintage right now.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, like I said, it's just so hard to rank these because of all the formats. Like some of them, like this one is not good in Standard or Modern or anything.
There's one deck in Standard that I think is going to benefit off of it, but the rest of them are kind of like, could care less.
Yeah.
Like the deck color restrictions, I think is the most impactful.
Infinite combo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, free infinite combos. Or,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and like it's in Boros, but having permanent cards with activated abilities is super easy, especially because you're only building a combo deck with this card.
Next one we have is Loros of the Dream Den. We've talked about this one before. So 1 and 2 Orzhov hybrid mana for a Cat Nightmare. That's a legendary creature. Its companion is each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less, has lifelink, and during each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. It just happens to be a 3/2. This is another one that's
this one
power potential.
Yeah, people are messing around with this one in Standard and Modern. They're making Rakdos burn decks. They're making Boros burn decks. They're making Jund sacrifice decks. Like this one's making a lot of waves, and I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, I love this one in Aristocrats because basically everything in Aristocrats is two mana, right? Like, oh no, you blew up my Goblin Bombardment. Guess what? It's a permanent.
Oh shit.
Yep. Up next, we've got Yarion Sky Nomad, 3 and 2 hybrid Azorius mana, 4/5 legendary creature Bird Serpent. With Companion, your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. It has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, exile any number of non-land permanents you control. Exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step.
So this one, the companion clause is too hard to even evaluate. Like Commander, you can't play it. And I want to be proven wrong in every other format. I want people to make this work. But I just think a 5 mana 4/5 flying that bounces all your stuff or flickers all your stuff. I think that's really, really powerful. And I think that's going to see a lot of play. But the companion, I don't think this is ever going to be played as a companion.
No, this is the worst companion, but it's one of the better cards in the set for just itself.
That's kind of why I had it up so high, because as a companion, hot garbage. But as a card.
All right, what's next?
So this one's Gigantha the Wellspring. It's 4 and a hybrid Gruul mana for a 5/5 legendary creature, Elemental Elk. Companion, no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbols in its mana cost. And then has an ability tap and add Wooburg. This mana can't be spent to pay generic mana costs.
So
I think this one is really hard in all other formats besides Commander.
yeah, I think that
Because unless...
no, you go ahead. No.
Well, I just think in a lot of standard, modern, and vintage legacy decks, you usually want to focus on colors and not spread as much. And a lot of the better cards in those colors are at minimum double pips. And this one, you got to do single pips, which in EDH is a lot easier to do because you have an access to just thousands and thousands more cards than those other formats.
Yeah, I just think that this card is like strictly Commander because of the like requirements that Commander has, right? This is always going to be a 5-color card. So it's going to go in 5-color decks, which generally have cards that are split in their mana cost such that this card is just going to be golden in those decks. Like there are some like Golos decks that have been altered to not have Golos because obviously all of the bannings and shit surrounding Golos that could still use it. And I think that the 5-color God deck might still want to play this because all of the gods only have the 1 mana symbol. But again, like those are the like strict requirements on it that makes it only desirable in Commander, I think.
Yeah, and I think it can also just be your commander because it's a 5/5/5/5, or it's a 5-mana 5/5 that adds 5 mana.
True.
So it can get the rest of your deck working.
Yeah, that you only have to spend green on, right? Which your base color for 5-color decks is green.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a lot of these companion claws make these cards so hard to like rate and assess because sometimes they're hot garbage and unplayable. Other times they're super easy to do in different formats. And sometimes you just never even want to play them as companions.
Yeah. Gigantha is interesting, though, because I feel like good as Commander just so that you can recast it, but like solid as a companion just so that you like you do always have access to it when you need it. But it's kind of telling when you cast it, right? Whereas your Commander, it's like, yeah, it's my Commander. Everything is 5-color. I'm obviously doing this for that. But it's like, oh shit, he played the companion. Like it's game time. He's doing the thing.
Yeah.
The next one is fucking dumb. Lutri, the Spell Chaser.
The worst of them all.
The best of them all. So one,
yes,
and hybrid is it.
That's what I mean.
And hybrid is it. Legendary creature, Elemental Otter. It's a 3/2. The companion clause. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name, has flash, and when Lutri the Spell Chaser enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So at worst, it's a better dual caster mage. At best, it's the best version of dual caster mage.
Yeah, this is unplayable in a lot of formats.
Literally banned in Commander.
And it's unplayable in the only format that would make it good.
So a lot of restrictions for that one.
So I had this one in the middle just because I felt like we needed to talk about that, because if it wasn't banned, it'd be too good. And in every other format, having different names for cards is the reason those formats, or it's the opposite reason those formats work. Like being able to get 4-ofs makes those formats.
So I'm trying to remember with Lutri, did they ban it as a companion or did they ban it entirely?
They banned it. No, they banned it all entirely.
Okay. That is kind of interesting. I feel like it's fine in the 99.
Yeah, I think this would be the only playable place for it in the 99, but they just banned it.
Yeah, but I don't see why, like, that would just be dumb to create a companion card and then just ban its companion clause. Like you have
to I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I think that was the reason, because it's the same reason they got rid of the banned as commander.
Yeah, because there was
clause.
A couple of cards.
They just have it banned outright because it's just too confusing. It's like, because then you kind of have 3 ban lists. You have the ban list, the banned as commander list, and the banned as
that one's short
list, which they're just like, and so they just said no, it's just banned, just all together, which sucks because dope.
Yeah, but it's also fine. You know what I mean? It's not going to hurt EDH in any way, and it's not going to be like all these other formats have a tool that Commander doesn't.
It's not going to hurt that it's banned.
It sucks, but it's not that.
Is what you're saying? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it would fuck everything up.
As soon as this one was spoiled, I literally had our group chat, and I was just like, "Yo, guys, this thing's so sick." And then I don't know if it was you or Sean, immediately threw in just like, "Yo, this is already banned." I was like, "Fuck, really?" Immediately, man.
Yeah. This is the only card in Magic history that was preemptively banned before the set came out.
I was a little salty.
And they They said I think they said that usually they look at cards, and if they are going to be banned immediately, they try not to make them. But this card is just for EDH. They didn't want people to go out and buy them and spend money on them, because as soon as this card was...
so much better that they banned it.
As soon as this card was made, they knew it was going to.
Yeah.
Oh, and if it was Commander legal, the first 2 weeks it would climb. No matter where it started, it would just
I don't even think the first 2 weeks. I think it would just keep climbing. It would just as people opened packs.
Well, yeah. But I mean, whenever they banned it, it would be double, triple, quadruple.
Yeah, and then it would be like 10% of the cost to make the card.
Yeah, I think
once
formats that run dual caster mage and doubling spells like that, I think they'll try and make this work. They'll never try and make it work as the companion clause, but I think just in the 60, I think it can.
Honestly, the way I see like dual caster mage, Narumeha, any of the other like fork effects is that they're a draft or limited environment card. It's really, really hard to like get the right value in a standard environment with a legendary creature like that. Having it as the companion is all right, but
I still think it's 4 of.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's a 4 of playable because it's only a 3/2 for 3. You're just looking for the forks, so you'll fucking toss out the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it is a decent body.
All right, this next guy is Garuda, Doom of the Depths. 4 and 2 split cost Amir mana for a 6/6 legendary creature, Demon Kraken, bro. Whoa. With the companion. Why can't I fucking say that?
Because you've been drinking
last episode I edited, I was like, Garion, what's wrong? With the companion clause of your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana costs. When Garuda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyards. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control.
Now that effect, I am all...
Well, all right then.
So Amanatu loves like flicker and blink effects. And how many times do you want to blink Garuda?
All the time.
Every single time.
Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this card, I brought it up. It's making waves in, I think it's vintage right now.
Making waves.
People are making odd color decks and running this as a companion and just fucking people up. And I don't think it's gonna get banned, but I think it's just overrunning people right now, and people are still trying to make a deck to combat it. I'm not sure exactly what that deck list looks like, the one against it and the one that's running Garuda right now, but I think this is just a really, really solid and fun card to build.
I'm trying to think as a companion, like you can't really cheat it out, which means you're paying retail for it.
Yeah, but
so, like granted, you got like Moxus and like ways to get infinite mana really easily, but it's just kind of... I
can't remember what the payoffs are, but I think in Commander, this card it gets a lot worse because right away you can't run your Soul Ring, but yeah, you can. Oh, never mind. Even cost. Not as Commander.
I keep on wanting this to be the fucking 1 mana or the odd. I want this to be odd so bad.
Yeah. In Commander as a whole, this card is awesome, super good, but as a companion in Commander, I don't think it's very good. Or I think it's a lot harder to build around.
The thing that I noticed about Garuda, though, is that it is 6 mana, and there's one creature type that I see that's always 6 mana, and that's demons, which Garuda is one of.
Oh,
so
God.
I feel like, yeah, Demon Tribal Garuda, I think would be a lot of fun. And you get blue, like, just free. Let's look at the Selesnya one here. We've got Koriha, the Orphan Guard. 1 and 2 Simic hybrid manas for a 3/2 legendary creature, Cat Beast. Your companion clause, each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. Those are the 5 tribes of Ikoria, besides humans, but who cares about humans? They're boring. As vigilance, so Selesnya loves that vigilance, and each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. So Vigilance Tribal, very real. It's also just an anthem for whatever the hell you have. This card has a lot of potential, but you better get like so much value off of those creature types.
Yeah, I think this is an easy draft card because it cares about all the types on Ikoria. So Ikoria, this is going to be super easy to play. And then
Ikoria, this is like anti-humans. Fuck the humans. I care about everything else.
In other formats, I think you have to cater to the tribe, not necessarily one of those tribes, but you're probably only going to cater to one of those tribes. But then just a 3/2 vigilance for 3 that potentially buffs all your other stuff, I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, imagine your cat tribal deck, Cory. This thing is just free.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of the tribes or the decks that run those tribes, they have Selesnya in them. Like they're usually Naya or above, and so I think this is a lot easier to run as a companion in Commander, especially in those decks.
Than a lot of the other ones.
Like usually you have some one-offs that mess up your tribal support, like Eternal Witness, for example. So you'd have to find like a workaround for those, but I think those are few and far between and easy upgrades for this kind of effect, because a 3-mana pump Vigilance in those Naya and Selesnya aggro decks, I think they'll see play in a lot of Commander decks.
Yeah, the thing is that this is another one that's just like, if you can make the companion work, amazing.
Yeah.
If you can't, it's a 3-mana Vigilance and Anthemer for your team.
Yeah, which in like
you can do worse.
Limited or Standard, like solid.
Oh, yeah, it's a money card. Garion?
We've got Abosh the Prey Piercer. It's 3 and 2 hybrid Rakdos mana for a 3/5 legendary creature, Hellion Horror. The companion clause of your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. If a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead.
Deal.
Yeah, that sounds like he's got a home already.
Furnace of Wrath, Dictate of the Twin Gods. Pretty sure both of those are 5 mana.
I think Furnace of Wrath is 4.
Is it? I thought it was also 5.
I think Dictate is 5.
Yeah, Dictate's 3 red. I love double damage effects.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
I think that the deck building restriction, I have to be in Rakdos and odd tribal. It's a bit more difficult. I guess we'll see how it works out. I don't see him getting that much play anywhere.
Same. Yeah, that's why I had him lower tier, because like Gyruda, it's even, but you can kind of win the game off his effect. Well, this just sort of helps you win more. So
yeah.
And it's 5 mana, so usually with double damage decks like that, they're looking for, there's a lot of burn or direct damage and things like that. And so 5 mana, it's kind of on the higher end, at least in 60 card decks.
Yeah, but I mean, it is your finisher, right? Like essentially, instead
100%.
of having a card that finishes the game, it's a card that amplifies everything else to help you finish the game.
Yeah.
The problem that I see is that everything that you want to run, as far as like burn is concerned, is 1 and 2 mana, right? And so this gets rid of half of that.
Yeah.
And that's going to feel really, really bad to have to go 1 to 3.
Yeah, so I think this one, instead of helping the easy decks, I think this kind of makes a new deck. I don't know if that deck is as good as those other ones, but I think people will try and make it work.
It's just awkward.
Yeah.
Like both Garuda and Obosh are like super awkward in that you're skipping every other turn or playing like undercosted cards on those turns.
Yeah, and I think if the text said if a source you control would deal damage, it deals double damage. The fact that it only cares about odd damage no matter after it's out, I think that hurts it in EDH as well. Because sometimes you just not running, like if you don't have it as a companion, you can't really throw this in a deck because half the time your deck won't do double damage when you need it to.
Yeah.
When you can't steal shit or anything.
Yeah, it's just inferior to the blanket double damage effects.
Yeah, for sure. Which, let's be real, those are good cards. But they're limited to like the decks where you're getting the biggest advantage out of that. Whereas this is a source, only a source you control that gets that double damage effect. So you're not getting punished for it.
Yeah, I think that the easy conclusion or the easy idea for this deck would just be Torbrand. But Torbrand's 4 mana and he's mono red. So you can't even do that.
Fuck, it's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just like a slot in.
Guys, red just sucks, bro.
Red's great. It's just you gotta work with it.
You gotta work hard.
Like I tell people, mono red isn't as simple as people think.
Feasible.
Yeah,
No, it's really not.
All right, next one.
It's cheap though.
Next one, Gary, I'm
which
gonna
is
have you
nice.
go again.
it's fast.
Yeah, so these next 2 cards are in the best color combinations you can have.
And yet they're the worst.
First, we've got, these 2 specific cards. The first one is Amari the Collector, 2 and 2 hybrid Golgari mana, 4/5 legendary creature ooze with a companion clause of each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. As Amari the Collector enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast.
I would argue this is actually one of the best ones. And that's because
I mean, it's a good ramp.
Play like one card type that has interactions with everything else. Bestow exists for a reason. Theros made some great enchantment creatures. And me building a Golgari infused Enchantress deck sounds like a lot of fun. I'm willing to try it, but it's so restricted. But again, it's bad everywhere else.
A Golgari infused I was going to say a Golgari infused enchantment deck is not really the generic good card we're looking
but in
for.
that deck, it's absolutely fucking bonkers. Like every spell you cast costs 1 less.
I think a lot of these companion cards have a way to make it spicy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see this as the bottom tier of these cards personally, but it's certainly not one of the best.
Like you're only allowed
think that
like base creatures. You're only allowed base. I mean, you can't even do just instants and sorceries. It's instants or sorceries. Like creatures are honestly the easiest one to do because they do have so many other types associated with them. But god damn, is that not like a painful hoop to jump through, because all of the removal spells in the fucking game basically have like creature or something else, or it's just creature. So free removal for your opponents.
Yeah, you can't run some of the best spells in the game, which are just instant and sorceries, because, and then I think, especially in EDH, you can't run any of your ramp really, and you're stuck to like Primal Genesis kind of decks.
Just run Golgari artifacts and have all your artifact creatures.
Actually, I think enchantments is actually the strongest creature or strongest card type to choose, because you do get enchantment creatures, you get artifact enchantments, and the enchantments that are generating creatures are so much stronger than like if you were to do all sorceries to make tokens and things like that. I just think that enchantments realistically does end up being the best type to choose aside from creatures, because you can get the ramp, you can get the card draw, you can get creatures, you can get tokens, you can do Voltron, you can do like whatever you want. You're just restricted to X plus enchantment to doing that.
That's the thing, like, which Golgari artifact commander can you use?
Well, I'm putting this in a multicolored deck that's not just Golgari.
See, yeah, you'd have to do that. You can't really run a Golgari deck with this guy, and because really you could only do creatures.
Yeah.
And then like because a lot of the Primal Surge decks, like I was saying, they're usually Gruul because it's just Nakia the old ways or Rurik Thar, and you just cheat everything out. But you can't even run this guy in those because it's got black. And so I think at the very worst,
is there enough planeswalkers to make it
4/5
worth running a 5-color? No, because you can't. There's no 5-color planeswalker that's legal in Commander. You have to do what? Sark?
And is there even a 5-mana enchantment creature? Chromanticore? No, it's not legendary.
Yeah.
I don't even think, because you have to do enchantment creature. Like we said, like the build around is too tough for this companion. It's too restrictive because you're hampering yourself.
Yeah, in Commander, like obviously you're restricted because you have to choose creature, unless you can find like the fringe case. But it's so difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just weird that a 4-mana card that helps you ramp. Like usually you want to ramp before that, but
yeah, I don't see this as a companion. Honestly, like this again, it is just one of the ones that I am putting this in any deck that I have that's either tribal or that's like heavy enchantment or artifact based, and I'm just putting it in the 99 because it's going to make it better.
Yeah, it's way better than the 99 for those decks.
And that's
maybe I'll make an ooze tribal deck with this as the commander, not as the companion, and just make all my oozes cost 1 less.
I mean, that could be fucking good because there's some damn good oozes. Granted, there's also some dog shit tier oozes.
Oh yeah.
But dude, just throw it in your Morophon deck. Just the next deck you build is ooze.
Yeah, ooze was going to be one of them. So, because like the best ooze is Mimeoplasm. Mimeoplasm deck would be sweet too, but I think just having a bunch of oozes would be a ton of fun.
All right, let's finish strong on the most like exploited, but at the same time worse. Like it's the best and the worst. So we've got Karuga, the Macro Sage. So for 3 and 2 hybrid Simic mana, legendary creature Dinosaur Hippo. She's a 5/4, and the companion clause, your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So, goddamn, your early game sucks.
You take 2 turns off.
At least.
That's what it reads.
Yeah, at least.
You let your
in Commander, most people do that shit anyway.
Yeah, but this means you don't get 2 mana rocks, you don't get Soul Ring, you don't get Rampant Growths, you don't get any of that stuff if you run it as a companion.
Yeah, there's a lot that you skip out on. But this is one that if you can frame your deck around it, then it just has so much upside. Like this, again, just in the 99, fantastic. In
Seriously.
other formats, well, by turn 3, you've already lost the game, or you're like about to fucking like hammer home with the game. So,
yeah, I don't think this one can see any play as a companion clause or as a companion.
No, the five mana for it is really expensive on its own, and just the effect is good, but you need to fucking basically wheel yourself on this one.
Let's move on to a cycle that I really like, mainly because Seb McKinnon fucking killed it. We've got the monocolored 3-color cards.
Yeah, they're monocolored, but if you play them for multicolored, they got an upside.
Yep, so we've got Mythos of Illuna, Mythos of Nethroi, Mythos of Vadrock, Mythos of Brokos, and Mythos of Snapdax.
And so the first one is Mythos of Snapdax. That's 2 white for sorcery. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among non-land permanents they control, then sacrifices the rest. However, if black and red was spent to cast this spell, you choose the permanents for each player instead. We have better board wipes.
Yeah, so this is just a more mana-intensive Tragic Arrogance. And I think it's interesting from a design perspective how these are monocolored cards, but if you cast the generic mana as colored mana,
yeah, but
then
like
they get
the
better.
casting cost, if you spend the 2 generic as 2 multicolored, like you're spending 4 colored mana for that spell.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder to cast.
Flavorful, not helpful.
Yeah, I think this can be backbreaking, but at the end of it, you have to sacrifice a bunch of stuff, and the opponent also has to sacrifice a bunch of stuff. So you don't get rid of everything.
And it's the way the white does things, right? Everything a parity.
Yeah.
All right. What about the next one?
Sick, we've got Mythos of Illuna, 2 blue for a sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent. If red-green was spent to cast the spell, instead create a token that's a copy of that permanent, except the token has, when this permanent enters the battlefield, if it's a creature, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So it could be a fight spell if you got the right colors. But at worst, you just get to copy something.
It's a token of a permanent. This one is very good.
I feel like this one's almost better just as a
mono. No, easily. It is restricted in Commander because of the extra cost on it. All of these are 3-colored spells effectively for Commander.
Yes.
Yeah, I think in 60-card formats, just making a copy of your opponent's best thing or your best thing for 4 mana.
Yeah, so
I think that's pretty good.
This is one of the few things in Magic that can copy lands.
That's weird. This mono blue ramp.
Mono blue, but not.
I get a token land.
Up next, we've got Mythos of Nethroi, 2 and a black for an instant. Destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature, or if green and a white was spent to cast this spell. So, if you cast it for its normal cost, you're killing a creature. If you cast it for all 3, then you're getting any
non-land.
Any non-land permanent.
Yeah.
So,
important.
For Obzon, it's great.
I think this is
for
very good.
Mono black, it's fine.
I think mono black, it's really good. And in Commander, if you can run it, this card is insane. Beast. It's like it's Beast Within, but you don't give them a 3/3.
Yeah. Or it's just, destroy target creature, which generally speaking, there's going to be creatures out. It's not like it's going to be a dead card. The next one, big fan of this one. Sorry, I should have said that with a heavier emphasis on the sarcasm. Mythos of Vadrock, Damn it, Garion, why did you say fucking...
Vadrok.
Mythos of Vadrok. 2 red for sorcery. It deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. If white-blue was spent to cast this spell until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block, and their activated abilities can't be activated. So for Jeskai, you can lock down their board, assuming they have 5 creatures, which is okay. 4 mana for 5 damage is not a spectacular rate. You kill 1, maybe 2 creatures with this, and you're probably pretty happy with it. But God, this card in comparison to the other ones is very, very disappointing.
The artwork's the best, though.
I think
The artwork is really good. I think this card is really good in
definitely
limited formats because freezing their whole board and potentially killing stuff is backbreaking, game ending. But Drew, like you said, 5 damage for 4 mana. Like, this is a shit removal spell. You're almost always going to be wanting to cast it for the disruption and freezing their board. But that means you need to be Jeskai minimum.
Yeah, and with that, like, there's so many better spells than Jeskai for like locking down the board. Like, fuck off with this one.
Yeah.
I think it's funny as well that the black one,
Yeah.
not the blue or the red, is the only instant.
Yeah,
for
that's
sorcery, you want so much
Black
more.
is well known for loving instant speed spells.
Instant speed removal.
I mean, it does have flash tribal, kind of,
Yeah.
It's true.
in this set. Last one we got is Mythos of Brokos. 2 green for sorcery. If blue-black was spent to cast a spell, search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. But otherwise, return up to 2 permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand.
So for 2
This is
green, it's a
kind of
double
like a-
regrowth, which is the exact cost of 2 regrowths.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
That's not great.
That's okay.
That's bad.
Regrowth is good sometimes. Usually you don't want to main board it.
Yeah.
But I think the Dimir cost adding to it,
It makes it a tutor.
you tutor for either your best thing.
And then you get whatever your
And then
best
you can
thing.
put it into your hand.
Yeah, you tutor for your best thing.
Yeah.
And then you put whatever is the best thing currently in your graveyard into your hand. That's
I
that's
think
better.
4 mana,
That's
that's
a lot
okay.
better. Right? If you were to split the cost
Even
as like
still, though,
demonic
because
tutor
it's
plus
regrowth.
regrowth, like tell someone that you're getting demonic tutor and regrowth for 4 mana, and they're probably like, well, that's how much demonic tutor and regrowth would normally cost. So yeah, I'll pay that.
Well, yeah, as long as your best thing is a permanent
Right.
card. Because
Right.
like you can't get your best removal spell
Unless
and
it's
put it into your hand.
Murderous Rider.
Unless it's... Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, you
I think-
could, if you're doing some sort of recursion outside of just this one card, which the assumption is you are, you could go get your best spell, return 2 permanents, and then have, Eternal Witness or some shit to go grab that best spell, whatever. But
True.
I still think that's
Yeah.
a lot of hoops to be doing, whereas I'd rather just pop 1 card onto the battlefield. I don't have to
Yeah.
cast that shit.
I think people might try and make a Garuda Sultai deck with this, where you tutor for your best thing, pitch it into your graveyard, get 2 things back, play Garuda, mill some more, and then cheat your best thing out.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a lot of
That's
stuff.
like step 1, have this specific deck. Step 2, that deck needs to be more specific so you can have your companion. Step 3, jump through 2 more steps. Step 4, which is actually step 6, hopefully win the game.
Get all the cards at the right order.
Yeah. So this next one, I asked you to throw these into an order. Were you able to find out which order was best, which ones were worst?
So it's just like with the companions. Some cards are really good for EDH because they're 1-0 formats, and other cards are really good in 60-card formats because you can double up stuff. And some cards are just bad.
All right. So we'll just start with
So I tried to rank them according. It's kind of like 2-2-1, like if that makes sense.
I
Like
gotcha.
these 2 are good in EDH and standard or 60-card formats, and the next 2 are okay in those formats, and then the last one is just
all right. So
not great.
I also added on to this one because these are the ultimatums. We've previously seen the ultimatums from Shards.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm going to read the disappointment. I'll say it, and then we'll compare it to its original version, or the one that we're comparing it to, and they'll kind of give an idea of what we're talking about here. So, Inspired Ultimatum is blue, red, white for sorcery. Target player gains 5 life. It deals 5 damage to any target. Then you draw 5 cards. Now, that is in comparison to Cruel Ultimatum for blue.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's the point. So this one compares to Cruel Ultimatum for blue, black, red. Sorcery. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards 3 cards, then loses 5 life. You return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, draw 3 cards, then gain 5 life.
Woo!
So Cruel Ultimatum has a lot of things going on. I think it has 3 more things than whatever this other garbage is. And
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like arguably the best part about Cruel Ultimatum is making your opponent discard 3 cards and you drawing 3 cards.
This one, you get to draw 5 cards, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't, like, you get to do 5 damage. Like, you might be able to kill one thing, or granted, you can take a fourth of their life. Yeah. You might be able to finish them off, but...
What if we looked at it this way? It's a 10-point life swing, and you draw 5 cards.
For 7 colored mana.
That's okay as your very top end in standard or in limited.
Even then, like, dude, you have to have so, like, the color restriction is like...
So that's a hard no for me.
Like, they just jumped the ball so hard. It's like, hey, all of this other Jeskai stuff is super fucking good. We have to give them 1 trash rare.
Yeah, I don't even know how to make this card, like, better.
You spend another 2 to 5 mana, fork it at least once.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
But
drawing 10 cards for 10 mana or 9 mana.
And 20-point life swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card,
Not too shabby.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just 5 life is...
Ironically, this card is very uninspired. Yeah. Let's just jump into the good cards now.
Meta ones.
Yeah, so the one I put first, this one is insane in EDH. It's Eerie Ultimatum. It's white, black, green for sorcery. Return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield.
God fucking damn it, you guys.
Return all permanents in your graveyard.
7 mana.
Let me just reread that
that's
one.
That's basically what I read. Yeah, it might be okay in 60-card formats because you just get your whole board back, but it's just one-ofs.
Yeah.
In EDH, you literally get your whole graveyard back.
Well,
dude, there's already, was it Kethis Super Friends?
Yeah, that thing is...
God damn.
So Eerie Ultimatum is basically a you win the game button. And the only one that really fit for the old ultimatums was Titanic Ultimatum, which is red, green, white for sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +5/+5. Gain first strike, lifelink, and trample. So this is, I feel like, a little bit more obvious of a win the game button. But you smash this down, and if you lose that game, it better be because they countered it.
Yeah, I think just the only problem with overrun effects, and like this is probably one of the greatest overrun effects, it's you need to have a board.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you hit 7 mana and you're able to cast this, your board just won't be there. And I think that's why when you compare it to some other spells that, what is it? Eerie Ultimatum, that does kind of just get you in the game and win.
Yeah, if you look at like Quadrant
you need to have
Theory,
a setup, and this is a finisher.
Right. Like this is only going to be good in the late game. Granted, they all are. They're 7 mana. But like if you're behind or you're ahead, Eerie Ultimatum is still very, very good. Whereas with Titanic Ultimatum, you already have to have a board. You're probably already ahead. This is a kind of win more. It's only in Commander and things like that where Titanic Ultimatum starts to look that much extra efficient for its cost.
Yeah.
All right, Gary. I know you're pretty excited about this next one.
Your favorite colors.
I was going to say, it is my favorite colors, but like comparing it to Eerie Ultimatum, like I love the graveyard stuff, but I feel like this one is really, really close to the power level because we got a lot of phrases that just say card, not permanent card. So it's Emergent Ultimatum, black, green, blue for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards, shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other 2 cards without paying their mana costs, then exile Emergent Ultimatum.
I'm glad it does say without paying their mana costs because you've already spent 7 mana on this.
Yeah. I still feel like this is just putting your opponents between a rock and a hard place. This one has the potential in the right deck to be as good, I think, as Eerie Ultimatum.
This card has, which I don't think is inaccurate. It does obviously put some more agency into your opponent's hand, whereas Tooth and Nail is just, I get to choose. But Tooth and Nail is like 8 mana altogether. This is potentially just 7.
So another card that people are comparing this one to is a banned card in Commander. It's Gifts Ungiven, which reads 3 and a blue for an instant. Search the library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand. So what a lot of people are doing with this card is you choose the best 3 cards that can win you the game as soon as you get them, and you play that. And no matter what your opponent chooses, you're going to win the game because you get like combo pieces or ways to tutor the combo piece, and then it doesn't matter what they really choose.
Yeah, a lot of the best tutors are monocolored, so choosing 3 tutors is really funny to me. It's just like,
yeah,
luck,
I know
bitch.
people. I don't know
what I want anyways.
If this will, because it's 7 mana, but this is a 7 mana win you game. But people are coming up with Flash Hulk. Well, not Flash Hulk anymore because Flash is banned. But they're Tymna Thrasios decks, and so obviously
weird. It's like you could play this card in
a consultation and
Ad Nauseam,
Thassa's Oracle.
Oh yeah.
And they're 3 monocolored cards, but they're not 3 different color monocolored cards. So you could get 3 of the same color as long as they're monocolored.
Yeah, so I think one of the lists was Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle, and Expropriate. And so you either lose a game that turn or you give them extra turns that they're going to win the game on. And so
that's funny.
It's just a 7 mana.
You just grab Expropriate, Omnipotence, and some other stupid shit.
Yeah, that's another list. I can't remember the other one. I think it might have been Enter the Infinite.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
And so no matter what you're doing, you're either giving them turns or giving them their whole deck.
And you're casting
up there.
Yeah, you're casting these. You're not just playing them for free. So these are taking your Emrakuls and all this gross shit. Like you can do a lot.
Yeah.
There's no good answer as the opponent on this card. You're just like, fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like
this card is still good, but I don't know how good it's going to be in 60 card formats.
Yeah.
Because you will get your best stuff and you get to cast it for free, but I don't know if there's any win the game immediately. Probably in Legacy and Vintage and stuff like that.
They don't ever get to 7 mana.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure in mono or in modern how easy it is to get 7 colored mana and then go off.
Yeah, not right now. There's not really a great way to do that. But
yeah, I'm sure there's some cool Sultai stuff you could do. But yeah, this card, it's a good thing that it exiles itself.
Yeah. It would have
That's how you know Wizards was thinking about the power level when they have the card exile itself.
Yeah, but they still
shit
gave
just
you 3
needs
cards.
To disappear.
Like most things that we refer to as combos are 2-card combos. And so it's like
that's why in combo decks you'll always get something to help you win.
Yeah.
This is just guarantees win when you get 7 mana in those colors.
For sure. So the comparison here is Brilliant Ultimatum. So white, blue, 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 black, black. For sorcery, remove the top 5 cards of your library from the game. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. You may play any number of cards from one of those piles without paying their mana costs. So if you, again, are, say an Esper and can stack the top of your deck, well, then your opponent has a very tough choice. So if you look at Fact or Fiction, generally speaking, as someone who is playing that card, you want to choose, and this is the very generalized rule, is you want to choose the card that has the most to put in your hands. This, you get to cast them. So each of those cards is, that much more impactful immediately. And so good luck, opponent. Like you have a tough choice to make for, again, like Commander. And this was probably pretty solid in its time because something like this helps you just finish a game in Standard, but I don't see where it has any play outside of like its original Standard environment, limited environment, and then Commander at this point.
Yeah, this one is really hard because like Emergent Ultimatum, you just kind of win the game. Well, this one, you're going to be up, but they can easily just choose or like split the cards up where you can't win the game.
Yeah, they can put your like combos that are split, and then you choose.
Yeah, they kind of have too much control.
All right, so next one is Genesis Ultimatum. So this is the Teamer one. Green, green, blue, 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 red, red. It's a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand. Exile Genesis Ultimatum. So again, like Cory was just saying, with Emergent Ultimatum, if they put Exile on it, it's probably a pretty powerful effect. Teamer likes certain things, permanence being among them. So I don't see as to where you're losing value off of this card. You're also in blue and red, which means that you can fork this one. And 9 mana for doubling this effect is well spent.
Yeah, I think this one is kind of harder to look at or gauge it because 7 mana for 5 cards that you don't get to choose doesn't sound very good. Like, yeah, you get to put them onto play, but what if you get like 3 lands and 2 instants? Then it's almost as bad as Inspired Ultimatum, where you just paid 7 mana to draw a couple cards and then it exiles itself, so you can't really get it back. So I think the power level of this card is just too variable for it to be built around consistently. I think it's still very, very powerful, especially in these colors.
Yeah, I think that...
But you kind of have to stack your deck on the high side, which might fuck up your curve and not help you get to 7 mana to cast it.
So this one is kind of similar to Brilliant Ultimatum, like we just read, but it also fits kind of nicely with Clarion Ultimatum. So this one is green, green, white, 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 blue, blue. For sorcery, choose 5 permanents you control. For each of those permanents, you may search your library for a card with the same name as that permanent. Put those cards into play tapped, then shuffle your library. So that card has very, very fringe play in Commander. I'm sure that it was probably a beatdown in its own standard environment. And I think that there's one deck that uses it in Modern, but that deck basically isn't played anymore.
So I want to know what your opinion is on why you put this next card below Genesis Ultimatum. We've got Ruinous Ultimatum. Red, red, white, 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 black, black for a sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control.
So this one I put below because it doesn't really...
It doesn't say win the game. It
helps you... Yeah, like Genesis Ultimatum can win you the game. This one either cements your lead in the game or gets you back in the game, which I think it's still stupid good and it's even better in Commander. But if your opponent doesn't really have a lot, then this doesn't really do anything. Like, it's just a 7 mana waste taking up a spell kind of thing.
In Commander, this is always going to be valuable, but
it's
not true for other formats.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of one of those win more cards.
Definitely.
Or if you're very, very behind, will get you back in the game kind of cards. It won't just get you to where you need to be. I still love it. I'm still definitely going to play it. It's in Gary's wake, but better.
And cheaper, kind of.
And cheaper, but way more mana intensive. Yeah. I mean, but board wipes go.
It's fantastic.
Like, this
is up there as one of the best board wipes right now.
This will put you so far ahead.
Like, this is
in an EDH game.
It's much better than Violent.
Is that the old one? Oh yeah, dude, that one.
Yeah. You want to just read that one?
Yeah, the old one that we're comparing it to is black, black, red, 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 green, green for a sorcery. Destroy 3 target permanents.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well,
I think we can do that.
Power creep.
I think there's a spell in last year's Commander that does that for like 3 black, black.
Like, it's
some of these old cards
so that's
still
good.
hold up.
But
and some of them are still very, very broken.
Yeah, they're either the most busted shit we have, or they're just bad.
All right, let's move on to our 3-color enchantments here. Again, I'm gonna start on the worst one and then skip up to the best one. So worst one is Offspring's Revenge for 2 in Mardu. So that's 2 red, white, black. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 1/1. It gains haste until end of your next turn.
I think this card's good. This card's really good in limited
and
Mardu decks. Everything else,
I mean, it's not literally unplayable.
Maybe Boros decks or Orzhov decks, but Orzhov you want to keep sacking it and recurring it and stuff like that.
Right, but you still have to play that off-color stuff in order to get those. Right,
yeah,
like it's always going to be a 3-costed card, whereas some of the other ones that have had like hybrid mana. This one, at least it's not like a token that goes away at the end of turn. Right, that's a token that does stay. It's a 1/1, but it has all of the abilities and shit.
Yeah, ideally you want to abuse really good ETBs with this card. And by the time you get 5 mana, hopefully you'll have some of those in your graveyard. But the fact that it only targets red, white, or black creatures, it just funnels it into such a limited way because you can't run it in multicolored decks, or Wooburg decks or anything like that. Like, it only cares about Mardu
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Mardu stuff or
it's
less.
such a like anti reanimate strategy as well because it exiles those things.
Yeah.
And so like yes, you do get the thing a second time, and we've talked about this before. Getting the thing second time is obviously better than just losing it entirely, but you would much rather just go over and over and over again. I think it was Verena, the Esper zombie, like just not what we want, what we need. It's a disappointment. Compared to Whirlwind of Thought, which is 1 in Jeskai, so 1 blue, red, white for enchantment. I'm on level with this card.
This is your
whenever-
best card of these ones?
Because
Yeah.
it's always going to do the thing that it does.
The first two are kind of tied because
Yeah.
they kind of do the same shit.
Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. I would agree that this is tied with
That's all.
tied with the next one because there is no downside. This thing is always, always, always going to do what you want it to do. The next one we've talked about before, but it does have a downside that is sometimes way too steep. It has massive upside, larger than just drawing a single card, because literally drawing 2. But the downside on it, if you're not able to capitalize on the effects that this presents, then it is just going to punish you.
Yeah, it's Song of Creation, 1 green, red, and a blue for an enchantment. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards, and at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. 'Tis good.
So I think obviously what you guys talked about, the immediate problem is discarding your hand, and you need to have the build around to be able to cast more things from your graveyard or get things back, have activated abilities. But I think it's just going to be really hard if you have this out and nothing going on, and you draw for turn and it's a land, and you're just like, oh fuck, I don't have any gas.
Yeah, there are turns when this is just working against you, right?
Yeah.
And
I think this is the big fat all-star in your 4 and 5 color decks. Because in Teamer, you discard your hand a lot of the times, it's gone, and that's fine. But like once you can get out a couple permanents that allow you to manipulate your graveyard as part of your hand, like you said, that downside turns into upside instead of just a neutral zone where you're top decking. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely, and knowing me, the worst fucking luck in the world, I'm going to draw 3 lands.
And they're all gonna be
like,
tapped.
you guys are fucked. And then, I'm going to be screwed.
Yeah, but yeah, that's exactly the issue with this one, right? Like just because you're allowed to play an extra land in a turn doesn't mean you're going to be able to play an extra land each turn.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can string spells together, you're refilling your hand forever, for days, but then you still have to discard at the end.
Yeah. And so that's what it comes down to, right? Is that basically just says your maximum hand size is 0. So like you always have to be going through everything in your hand every single turn. But by going through everything in your
Unless
hand,
you can skip your end step.
Ooh.
right? But by going through
Sundial Infinite.
by going through and like churning through your deck, you're drawing more cards, which means that you're going to discard more cards, which means that you have to have built-in graveyard synergies. You just do. Otherwise, this card is going to you're going to nut, and then you're not going to do
Ruin your
anything
life.
the rest of the game.
Yeah, you got to have payoffs. This is definitely the enabler for the whole deck, but you need payoffs or else you're dead.
Yeah. In the escape deck, this thing is unreal. Every other deck, it's like,
Yeah.
I hope that you have something. And not regrowth, reanimate.
Yeah, I think another really hard thing about Song of Creation is that when you play it, you're getting rid of your hand that turn.
Yep.
So you better play your other land and hope you have a 1-drop or something, because all your cards are dead.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what you have in
Unless
hand,
they all have escape.
right? Because like,
Yeah, so don't pick this up in draft. This might be too hard.
oh, I'm going to pick it up and draft. You kidding
I was
me?
going to say, or do and just say, fuck it.
This is a first pick for me. It's a bad one, but like, goddamn, I'm doing it.
I mean, it's fun, but I don't know. So the next one we have, I don't know, the next 2, I don't know, like all 4 of these cards besides the Mardu one are really, really good in the decks that they want to be in.
Yeah.
So this next enchantment is Death's Oasis. It's Abzan, so it's white, black, green for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a creature card with lesser converted mana costs than the creature that died from your graveyard to your hand. And has pay 1, sacrifice Death's Oasis. You gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control.
Last ability is
So
a
this is
throwaway.
basically Yeah, the last is just like a Hail Mary, like you need to stay in the game. But the first ability, it's just Scrap Trawler for creatures, for non-token creatures. And Scrap Trawler is just artifacts that basically when a lesser converted mana cost goes to the graveyard, you get something back. And this just does it with creatures. And in a Reanimator strategy, oh, buddy, this will get you so much value. Oh, yeah. Just being, like we say, just doubling up on effects, this will get you like so many more effects. And
the hops on Reanimator Aristocrats shell is kind of ludicrous on this one. Like, you're already sacrificing creatures and you're already putting creatures into the bin intentionally. And so to do that and then also be able to get those creatures back to your hand so that you can recast them if they've got ETBs, whatever. Like, there's usually 3 sorts of creatures that you want in an Aristocrat shell. This one kind of enables you to have a 4th one. So normally you have like your sacrifice creatures, your creatures that have something happen when they die, and the things that allow you to like capitalize off of them dying. So this is technically that 3rd category, but now you can also focus on ETBs, which are then creatures that you want to die. And so like you can cycle these, and like the potential for this one is definitely real because you can start to build up, especially if like you're sacrificing them for mana, then you start to build up and put bigger and bigger creatures. And then once you get to like anything that is of decent size, it doesn't matter what you sacrifice, you're bringing something back to your hand.
Yeah, the next one we've got is Titan's Nest 1 in Sultai for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Exile a card from your graveyard, add 1 generic mana. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without X in its mana cost.
So give all of your spells Delve.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's got some upside, for sure.
Delve is not a powerful mechanic at all. It is not broken, and it is not abusable.
I when I first read this, I thought it said with X and not without X, so it's much better than what I thought. Yeah, but still,
if it had only X, then it's just like, hey, here's your Hydra tribal enchantment.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to play Sultai Graveyard Hydra. What the fuck are we talking about here? So I still, I think it's good.
Yeah, plus it's just like, it also has a little bit of the self-mill, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, but the best part about the self-mill is that it's a May, because there are times when you put shit in the graveyard, you're like, no, the one thing I did not want to go there. Yeah. So this one you can at least choose.
Yeah, and you get to check it out first, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time in Sultai decks, you'll just use the first part, and then if you just need some extra mana, because usually in Sultai decks, you don't want to exile stuff from your graveyard, but if you just have lands in there that you can pitch and just get an extra mana or 2 to cheat things out, I think that's really powerful. How, and then there's probably some stupid stuff you can do where you play this turn 4, you Hermit Druid, you exile your whole graveyard, you cast a Kozilek on that same turn. Like, there's probably some dumb stuff you can do.
Yeah, see, that's the thing with the graveyard, like, self-mill decks, is there is a lot of, like, ancillary self-mill that isn't actually part of your, like, recursion stuff. It's just shit that got dumped with it that you're trying to dig for the good stuff. So there's going to be stuff there that you can just pitch and cheapen everything.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's funny that, we talk about life gain being bad, but incidental life gain is good. This is kind of like a weird, awkward incidental ramp. And if that's not good, I don't know what it is.
Like, maybe I'll ramp, maybe I won't. We'll see.
Well, let's jump into the colorless rares. We got artifacts first. We talked about Crystalline Giant on our spoilers episode. So 3 generic, an artifact creature giant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that it doesn't have. From flying, first strike, death touch, hexproof, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, vigilance, and +1/+1. Put a counter of that kind onto Crystalline Giant. So this is a build your own Voltron. It's also, if you're able to move counters around, just like whatever you need at that situation.
It's just a counter spawner.
And if you choose +1/+1, proliferate sure does work on those.
Yeah, I think run this card no matter when you get it. It's just going to be good.
Yeah.
But the only thing holding back is that it's at random. And so it'll take some turns, but it'll eventually turn into something super good.
It turns into a 3 generic mana kill on sight eventually. They have to get rid of it. You can't just let it sit.
But that's like 8 turns.
Maybe,
yeah, but what if it gets the one thing you need, right? What if it's flying or death touch?
What if it gets hexproof first?
Yeah. All right, so the next card we have
the next one we've also talked about before.
The Ozolith. So just 1 generic mana, legendary artifact. I don't need to read anymore, so I'm going to let Garion finish that card.
Yeah, we could stop there and be golden. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature.
So there's one card that this pairs really well with. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called Crystalline Giant.
Oh shit, that'd be tight. That'd be tight.
It's literally just spawning counters that the Ozolith steals and throws around wherever the fuck you want it.
Yeah, I mean, it does require that the giant dies, but like, meh.
He's going to die eventually anyway.
I mean, he doesn't have to die. And I think that's what makes this card just that much better, is that it's whenever it leaves the battlefield for whatever reason.
That's true.
Yeah, they had Commander in mind when they wrote that.
Rayhan, Last of the Fomori. They're best friends. They're the same card, but one's a 1-mana artifact. So,
right.
Yeah. One of these things just doesn't belong here.
Yeah. Watch out.
They were very, very smart to make this legendary.
And
yeah.
last but not least,
it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Last but not least, on our list of rares are the new lands. These are the triomes. So again, Indatha, Ketria, Raugrin, Savai, and Zagoth. Those are the triomes, and they're the best lands that WotC has come up with in a long time, since Shocklands probably.
I mean, there's Prismatic Vista, which is way better, and then there's the Fabled Passage. I think those two lands are some of the best lands.
I would argue that these
are
are
also fetches.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I was going to say, I would argue that this is up there with them, strictly for like what they do in the environment that they're in.
I think these are the best since the bicycle lands.
Oh, right. I forgot about the bicycle lands
in what they do.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Considering these are tricycle lands.
Yeah.
Which are, it's just,
it's too good.
Yeah, it's just fun to say.
Easy.
Yeah, it's just fun to say.
Yeah, so people are calling these the triome lands, but tricycle lands.
It's because we had something else that was named the tricycle lands. I don't remember what it was, but they have 3 different basic land types, which is just absolutely stupidly powerful when we have fetches out there.
Yeah, we kind of alluded to it, but they all have cycling for 3, and the only downside is that they come in tapped, which is the only reason they are balanced.
Yeah, if they didn't come in tapped, these would be arguably just the strongest lands in the game.
Yeah.
Wicked good.
Like, I'm sorry, but your normal basic land and your
these are better than
duels.
OG duels. Yeah. If they didn't come in.
Yeah, it's 3 types and cycling.
Cycling.
Like tapped
for that one time when you didn't need your duel.
Yeah, this duel is trash. I don't need it.
Sometimes
buy you.
Can you imagine being in that situation? Nah, buy you. Give me a land.
So
I'd rather just draw a card.
I think these are really good, especially in fixing in 60-card decks and limited environments. They're going to be really good fixing, but them coming in tap just hinders them. It hinders their power level a lot. So you want to fetch them, you want to tutor for them, and just get them in
possible.
On as an additional land drop. Yeah, and then, but the upside is that you can cycle them when you don't need the mana. So I think they're going to see a lot of play, just like the bicycle lands, but they're not. I think that
in most situations
they're going to be powerhouses in this form.
Yeah, I think that
we're running
in most situations they do just replace the bicycle lands. But
yeah,
I think my biggest problem with them is when we start cracking packs, either for drafting or in our sealed pool. One of these motherfuckers is going to steal one of my rares, and I know it. And then I'm still going to play.
It's going to be in the off colors that you're going to play.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
and then you're going to look at the price and you're like, worth. It's like at least I don't have to pay for
Another thing, the art is awesome.
Incredible.
And like the promo versions are fucking incredible.
Like they did really fucking well with it. Like it shows the biome that they're in so well. And like you can see what creatures
either these guys play Magic. Yeah, either these guys play Magic or Wizards wrote up like a 5-paragraph prompt for these lands. Because it's like, holy shit, I'm in the world of Teamer.
Yeah. And so the last one we have here is Bonder's Enclave. And it's just land, taps to add colorless. It's fine, it doesn't come in tapped to nothing. And for 3 and tap it, draw a card, activate this ability only if you control creatures with power 4 or greater. This is basically directed at big white and big red. Sometimes you just need to be able to draw a card. You'll spend 3 mana to do that. I don't think, even though Simic would be the color pairing to direct something like this effect at, they don't need it.
Yeah, I don't think they'd want it. There's other better things.
Yeah, I think it's also really good in just big mutate decks that see a lot of that, a lot of just big boys.
All right, Cory, define the mythics in this set in 10 words or less.
So these are just random, fucking awesome bullshit cards.
Okay.
Accurate.
You could take out like 3 of those words and, make a more eloquent sentence, but
Hell
correct.
no. So we've got basically just random mythics that are too strong for what they do. We've got some planeswalkers, that are just super good. And then we've just kind of got some...
We've got two like true cycles,
yeah,
right?
we've got a couple
the
cycles
humans,
of goodies.
Yeah, the humans are in the enemy color pairs, and then the apex creatures are the 3 colored.
Yeah.
So the random ones, let's do the one that I think I talked about prior to this was Luminous Broodmoth. This one I'm super stoked on.
Dumb.
Like this, to me, this is like the best version of like Flicker Wisp that's not as obviously abusable. So 2 white for Mythic 3/4 insect with flying. When a creature you control without flying dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter.
So usually this effect is a -1/-1 counter, so they're a little less good than they were.
Undying was +1/+1.
Oh, that's true. I'd still rather give them flying.
Yeah. This is it's dumb.
Yeah.
I believe the word is
Honestly,
brutal.
it's
In Limited, you basically double up on each of your creatures and make them more evasive. And then in different build rounds, if you can run Solemnity with this, you get an infinite sacrifice loop.
yeah, Jesus,
Ugh.
Yeah, it's dumb.
that's gross.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of Solemnity combos with this guy. And I think there's a couple different cards that remove counters from things. And just anything that does that, you can really, really abuse this guy's triggers.
Yeah, this one, this does not need any help to be abusable.
No.
Like a sack outlet, and you're pretty off. Garion?
All right, up next we've got Fiend Artisan. For 2 hybrid Golgari mana, we've got a 1/1 creature Nightmare. Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. X and a hybrid Golgari mana and a tap. Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with a converted mana cost X or less. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. You can do that more than once. You don't have to sacrifice this guy. What the fuck?
No, you have to sacrifice other things because that's such a
Bummer.
big cost. This guy gets bigger, kind of like its own Voltron as it's sacrificing shit. It's literally just tutoring stuff.
You can sacrifice tokens for days because it's all about the mana. You don't give a shit what you're throwing in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fauna Shaman in that you sacrifice something instead of discarding something, and then you kind of get your best thing or what you need right now.
It's like Pod plus Fauna Shaman.
And then it's kind of goify because it gets bigger and bigger the more shit is in your graveyard. Like it might be just a 2 mana 5/5 that you never sacrifice anything. It's just a 2 mana 5/5.
True. Yeah, that is.
And being non-legendary, this guy's gonna see some shit.
Yeah, this is a really good card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that people are going to do with this one is pay 3 mana, sacrifice something, and go get another copy of it.
Yeah.
Like at worst, you just tutored for another 2/2 that is just going to continue to grow along with it.
Yeah, the fact that it puts it onto the battlefield.
Like if you spent just like 3 turns sacking a creature to get another one of these, and just do that over and over again, assuming that you have like some way to make tokens or something like that in addition to that, and like in 3 turns you have 3 6/6s that are just going to fucking.
Has Dominaria rotated out yet?
Yes.
It has. So that Saproling deck isn't quite as good, but there's still some gross stuff you can do with this guy.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And in Commander, this dude is.
Yeah,
dumb,
and I think
dumb.
just being hybrid mana lets it just be a lot more flexible in 60 card
That's true.
formats.
Anything.
Yeah, they need to stop printing activated abilities that have hybrid mana. Whether it's like Phyrexian mana or like colored hybrid mana or the colorless colored hybrid mana.
No, they should print more Phyrexian mana.
Way too good.
I mean, they should do that, but they should stop putting on good dudes like this. Like this can just go in just a mono black deck. That's how disgusting this is.
Even in a mono green deck.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, all right, great. Why don't you read the first two planeswalkers here?
Okay, so the first planeswalker.
I think both of them kind of like play into you as a person.
Yeah, I do like both of these guys. So the first one we got is Luca. I don't know. Copper Coat Outcast. It's 3 red for a 5 loyalty counter planeswalker. +1. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled this way gain. You may cast this card from exile as long as you control a Luca or Luca planeswalker. -2. Exile target creature you control, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with higher converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. -7, each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So this is like weird pseudo card draw in mono red, and then it's cheating shit out for bigger stuff, and then it's just kill spell.
Yeah, and the fact that it takes 3 turns to get to the just blow shit up. Sorry, blow people up, right? Because it kills opponents, not creatures.
Yeah.
Which,
much better.
Yeah, like honestly, you read it, 5 mana, 5 loyalty, gets a +1. That's impulsive draw in red. 6 loyalty planeswalker is kind of hard to kill.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to get another +1 or a -2 off of him after that. His -2 is something that I don't know if you ever play him in +1 immediately. There's a lot of planeswalkers where you just try and get that extra value. But with him, it's like, no, I'm going for bigger because it's the first thing that you reveal that has a higher converted mana cost.
Yeah, so...
Oh no, my 1 mana turned into a Yadaro.
Yeah, there's definitely some build-arounds with this guy where you can make your deck only have the cards that you want to cheat out.
Yeah.
Because if you just have, like, maybe 12 different versions of 2/2s or 3 CMCs and then just, like, big boys... then you consistently get the 3 drops, cheat them out, or sacrifice them, and then get the big guys.
Yeah. So the next one, they continued the trend from War of the Spark with static abilities on planeswalkers, which I do not like the idea of them continuing that outside of that set, because I think that sets a pretty big precedence for something that is already very difficult to interact with in the first place.
Yeah, this one is pretty powerful. This one's the Vivian. She's Vivian, Monsters Advocate. 3 green, so another 5 mana planeswalker, but she's a 3 loyalty counter. But she has 2 static abilities. The first one is, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. And the next one is, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. She's got a +1, create a 3/3 green beast creature token, put your choice of vigilance counter, reach counter, or a trample counter on it. And then a -2. When you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser converted mana cost, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
So kind of an opposite effect is what we have from Luca. Noticeably, she just does not have an ultimate ability, right? Instead, she has 2 very good static abilities. She does come down at 3, which is important.
I think she's really good because she does only come down as a 3 for 5 mana, but she does make a block.
Then she makes a 3/3. Yeah, she protects herself, and that's one of like the big things about planeswalkers is they don't really protect themselves immediately. Then they're difficult to play.
Yeah, and I think it's a really versatile 3/3. Like if you're playing against flyers, then you can just give it reach. Well, if you're not playing against flyers and you need to get some damage through, then you can give it vigilance or trample.
All upside on this one.
Yeah.
So the next one is Narset of the Ancient Way for 1 and Jeskai. She's legendary planeswalker. Narset comes in 4, so 4 mana for 4 loyalty. +1, you gain 2 life, add blue, red, or white to your mana pool. I need to stop saying that because they took that phrasing out. Add blue, red, or white. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. -2, draw a card. Then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, she deals damage equal to the card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. And -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. So,
are you telling me that Jeskai likes to spling spells?
Somewhat. This is one of the planeswalkers where you do want to tick up and you do want to hit that ult. Her -2, I do like that it is a may on the discard, right? Draw a card, you may discard. If you do, then there's the bonus effect. Sometimes it is like, hey, discard a thing that you're not going to cast because it's too expensive or because it's not impactful right now, and you get a shock or just kill something. That emblem, though.
Emblems.
That
Harsh.
is very, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So now this next
she's pretty
cycle
good.
we're going to talk about is the humans, and there's some notable ones.
Yeah. Again, Cory, you rearranged them.
Yes, I did. And it was
So why don't you start off with the
kind
first
of
one here?
the same problem that we've had where different formats have different power levels. So the first one is Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. It's Simic. It's green and a blue for a 2/2 human druid, legendary creature. All these legendary creatures. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. And then it has 5 green-blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is another one that it's infinite combo with Basalt or Grim Monolith. And then it's just dumb. Like,
Yeah.
it just accelerates you so far ahead, and it comes down early, and then it's got a really good mana sink payoff that'll win you the game.
2 mana,
buddy.
double your mana rocks, and then also have somewhere to put all that fucking mana you just made.
Yeah.
I like that. Simic
Yeah,
does not need help.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's dangerous for either of those abilities to kind of exist. And the fact that you are, like, usually you have something that like increases your mana and it doesn't allow you to spend that mana on its own, right? You have to like work to do something additionally.
Yep.
This just throws it all together. And that's where, why? Again,
Seriously.
there's some cards here. It's just,
Yeah. It's really good. I think it's kind of busted in bad card design. Because it doesn't
Yeah, this
really
is
help
one of those
anything
where-
in the set. It's
No.
it really is just Simic busted good stuff.
yeah. I don't know who in R&D and the play design team or whoever it is there that is continuing to like take these Simic mythics to this level and even just Simic rares. But they really should have figured it out by now.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Up next, we've got General Kudro of Drannith. 1 white-black for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. Other humans you control get +1/+1. And whenever General Kudro of Drannith or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. 2 mana, sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So this one's nowhere near the quote-unquote power level craziness as the card before, but it's definitely one of those auto slot cards. You've got your Anthem effect, you've got removal, and you've got
And you got really good
Grave
grave
hate.
hate. Yeah, which in the standard
Yeah.
environment right now you need.
yeah.
Yeah, especially since this does just slot into the gray hate bears, I think, because most of the hate bears are humans. This is one of the cards that has a lot of potential, but it's going to find a home in standard immediately, but it may not find a home elsewhere ever.
I can see that.
Like, obviously, you can just go into whatever humans deck and
Yeah.
Commander, but like, guess what? There are better things and better ways to spend your time in Commander with humans.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a powerhouse.
This next one, I am pumped on. This might be my favorite legendary creature from the set. This is Riel the Everwise. So for 1 blue-red, we've got a human wizard who's an 0/3. She gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. And whenever you discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. So cycling, notably at instant speed, where you discard a card to draw a card. What if you got to draw 2?
God damn.
Also, just I like madness and discard effects, and she just makes all of them better.
Yeah, and she's really, really good with wheels. I think.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time on each turn, and you get to draw that many cards, right? It's not just like you get 1 for 1, like you would with cycling. Instant speed wheels become, hey, I got to draw 14 cards on your turn.
Yeah, I'll
Nice.
take that. Yeah,
Nice.
and especially in mono red, a lot of the draw is rummaging, so you have to discard first, and that just
Yeah.
doubles up on that.
And in Is It, they've been focusing a lot on looting as well.
Yeah, And looting just gets even better.
You benefit from all of the looting. So it's all upside with her.
Yeah, and she's really good. She's 3 mana. I think she come down fast. And then sometimes she'll just be a really big swinger. Next one we have is Winota, Joiner of Forces. So it's 2 red and white for a 4/4 human warrior. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in a random order.
So, would you say that humans is a powerful tribe?
They're okay. They're okay.
How often do you pair them with non-humans?
Not very often, but
never.
In this set,
But if you do,
this is the build around for it, because not only you get to look at the top 6, so you're going to get something, it puts them into play tapped and attacking, and it gives them indestructible.
yeah.
And at the very worst,
because that's
she's a 4/4 for 4.
yeah. The worst part about the clause where you put them into tapped and attacking is usually that you get something random, and you don't know if you can like put that in where it's going to be safe, right? A lot of the times it just dies because
it's just like
a small creature or something like that, a utility creature. This time, that's not the case, and you're going to continue to benefit off them on your next turn.
Yeah, and then another big thing is it's whenever a creature attacks. So if you have 3 creatures, you get 3 triggers.
Yeah, and it's on attack trigger, which means multiple combats means multiple triggers.
Swing with 5. Look at the top 30 cards. God damn.
You guys are gross. Stop it.
Yeah, this card, I think this is going to be a powerhouse in limited, and then standard. I can see the Boros build around.
Yeah, the standard build around is so easy.
Seriously.
Like,
plus you can call her Winona Rider of Bears.
I guess.
All right, up next we've got Chethel, Bane of Monsters. A black and a green gets you a 1/3 legendary creature human rogue with Death Touch. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. I think this
card is very underwhelming.
I think this one is, limited, standard, those kinds of place, 1/3 for 2 kind of thing where the upside is eventually maybe you draw a card. Commander, these bounty counters are fucking dumb.
Yeah, I put this one last because as you see with the other cards, they kind of help do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And this puts bounty counters on things, but it doesn't really help.
And he has Death Touch.
Yeah, but it doesn't really help.
He can kill things.
Kill the things. Like, if you put it on their best creature, then they're just not going to block with Cheville. Or if they kill Cheville, then you lose him and you can't put any more bounty counters on things. So you only get to do that once. If you put on a Planeswalker, it might just never die throughout the whole game. Like, I think...
I think it's one of those things where it's like, it has incidental value eventually, but like you said, it actively does nothing to help you except being a Death Touch creature.
More to the point on that is that the only time that it triggers is if there are no bounty counters on a creature in the first place.
Yeah.
Right, which means you can only ever have one, which means that it's basically like, hey, this is the creature I'm going to try and kill. Okay, now I'm going to spend my turn trying to kill that creature.
Right.
Yeah, and then...
Didn't do it, didn't get value, can't put anything else out.
Yeah, and just like if you put it on a Planeswalker and you don't kill it, then you don't get to keep putting more counters on. Like, it's just going to stick around.
Would be better. Give me a 1-mana hybrid Golgari 1/1 Death Touch Scorpion or something. I'll take those all day.
That would have been a lot better. But yeah, I think this card helps. Like, if you're already going to be killing a lot of stuff, then this just gets you more value and
it's fine. I mean,
more fuel.
Right now, Obzon removal is kind of like premier.
Yeah,
but that's why I think if you're in sealed or draft or whatever, maybe you're picking this up for incidental value. But if you're building a deck, there's just other shit you could use.
Yeah,
that's just gonna do a better job.
Yeah, I can see
there's a lot of uncommons that you probably pick over him. But
in limited, this would be really good. Like, you put it on their walls or something.
In limited, I mean, it's scary, right? In limited, it's just a 1/3 Death Toucher. Like, that in and of itself is just like, well, I know I'm going to try and kill you with like combat damage. Like, that is how I'm going to end a game of sealed. And now you're putting something that is going to help you benefit, put me further away from my goal, and also kill the creatures that I'm trying to kill you with. Like,
yeah.
But everywhere else, it's
I think another problem with it is it's 2 mana, so it comes down early, and you might put a counter on something just because you have to put a counter on it. and then
that you didn't really want.
Yeah, and then they might play something better that you can't put a counter on because it comes down on turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not a May trigger as well, right?
No.
All right, let's get into the final stretch here. This one's been a long one, but we've had some technical difficulties. And also, it just so happens that all of the rares and mythics in here are impactful, aside from like Cheville, which is just kind of funny. Maybe it's a little sad. Maybe not so much funny. Garion, I know that you're stoked on this one, but I'm going to take the first one.
Get him.
This is Nethroi, Apex of Death. So for 2 in Obzon, we got a 5/5 legendary creature, Cat, Nightmare, Beast. Mutate cost for 4, Hybrid Selesnya, black. It's got Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
My God.
This is absolutely insane.
The only thing that makes this card worse
once.
is that it's not Sultai, so you can't attach a million octopuses to it and just go ham. You know what I mean?
Literally, like, the gravy on this one is if you ever get to do it again. But the way I see this is that the Mutate deck has one major flaw. You're stacking up cards and things get closer to the sky are just more attracted to the lightning on top. Every single time you add something to the pile, it just becomes a bigger and bigger lightning rod. This guy says, fuck it, play him. You just get it all back. And then you went from a Voltron to a go wide strategy. And now you're fucking up everybody. Yeah. I'm a fan. I think he's one of the better Apexes, if not the best in Commander specifically. I think that in every other format, he's also just really good. But that added cost on the Mutate, it is 7 mana to do that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Great if you just mutate something else onto him. But
yeah, I think he's really fairly costly because it's 5/5 for 5 Death Touch Life. I think that's already super good. But then the 7 mana, it is kind of a game-winning effect. Like,
yeah, I certainly hope so.
You get so much value.
But he's still so much better as
you turn 5 on him?
Yeah. He's still so much better as a Mutate target, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because to plot this guy out as a Death Touch Lifelink 5/5 for 5 on turn 4 or 5, that's already doing so much work. Nobody's going to block this motherfucker. You're going to be gaining life. And then if you happen to mutate onto it, shit, bro.
Yeah, the hybrid cost on the Mutate is the thing that kind of like reels me back a little bit because I could almost see him as a Sultai card.
Yeah.
That you're just paying the green instead of the white and then you just have blue in your deck in addition to it. But then you're required to use that as his cost rather than having the flexibility. Right, because he's in a base black deck that has either, like half green in addition to it and just like a splash of white or like split on those, but you have to have the black. Like that's what this card tells me.
I think that's why it's so flavorful for his Mutate cost to be that, because it's like, this is a black card that's also doing a couple other things sometimes.
It's kind of Orzavi, kind of Golgari.
Yeah. What I will say about this one, though, is that cares about power. You get all the walls you ever want back.
Oh, yeah.
All them walls.
Next one we got is Eluna, Apex of Wishes. It's 2 green, blue, red for a 6/6 flyer trample. Legendary creature, Beast Elemental Dinosaur. It's mutate cost of 3, and then Gruul Hybrid, and then blue for a 6 mana total for the mutate cost. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand.
I love that it lets you choose. Because sometimes you don't want to just throw your best shit just out on the battlefield immediately. Sometimes it's nice to have a threat in your hand. This card, again, great to have, great to mutate, great to be a mutate target. Like this, again, it's just like checking all of the boxes. Plus you're just cheating shit out. Like,
yeah, I think
this card is.
I think the only downside is that it exiles things and doesn't put them back. So if you have non-permanent cards and all the lands, they're going to get exiled and they're going to stay exiled. Yeah. But it is kind of like pseudo cascade, but you get to choose, and it's not lesser mana cost. It's just the next like big thing, or I guess next thing.
It's interesting that this is the blue card when it feels very red.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot about it that feels base blue. It either feels base green or base red.
Yeah, I do really like it. Like, I can see you making a build around where you can just keep mutating on it and just cheating stuff out.
Yep. Up next, we've got the Sultai Apex. It's Brokos Apex of Forever 2 and Sultai for a 6/6 legendary creature, Nightmare Beast Elemental. There's so much shit there, it's tiny. With a mutate cost of 2, a hybrid Dimir mana, and a green. So a total of 5 mana for his mutate cost. He has trample, and it says you may cast Brokos Apex of Forever from your graveyard using this ability.
So this is, I think, the strongest mutate card because it doesn't give a fuck if your board is blown up.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to mutate on this all day. When you kill it, I'm going to continue to mutate on this all fucking day.
Like, obviously, other effects are stronger, but it fixes the glaring weakness of mutate.
I mean, it fixes it for him, not for all of your mutate cards, but it's still really good.
Well, just all of the cards that care about when this card mutates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that those cards are just naturally just going to be removal magnets. And so this allows you to kind of like have that built-in recursion. And at bare minimum, you're spending 5 mana to make something a 6/6 with trample.
Yeah, I think he's a really good target and a really good base for mutate, which just feeds into the synergy that recursion, or the recursion engine that you need in a mutate deck.
Yeah. And obviously it doesn't have the strength of what Nethroi does, but I think that on its own, that individual mutate ability,
Yeah.
because you can't do it from the graveyard, it literally just fixes its own weakness. And that's like, I mean, it's like having cards that give you a shitload of mana and allow you to spend a shitload of mana. Not nearly as broken, but very good.
Now, this next one is bullshit.
Oof.
We just went to 3 5 mana Apex Predators.
Just 3 mana. Just
What?
Jeskai, blue, red, white for Bedrock, Apex of Thunder. He's a 3/3 though, so comes with a cost. Elemental Dinosaur Cat, and he looks like it. I'm like that dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mutate cost of 1, split Azorius mana, red. Flying, first strike. When this creature mutates, you may cast target non-creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. I'm all on board for this guy. Obviously, this guy is like the lead singer of the cycling deck. If you can put cycling and mutate in a deck, this is the one that screams, "Hey, mutate on top of me. Let me be the mutate. Let me be the guy that pulls it all together."
Yeah, I think that's my only problem with this guy, is that he cares about the cycling and spell slinging decks, but he's a mutate creature. And so you kind of have to shoehorn some mutate to make him better, or make
if you
him
can
work.
if you can find like the powerful mutate cards, the Octopus. There's the one white cat like that scales up, and I don't think that you ever have to spend more than 4 mana in that deck.
Yeah.
And I think that you can benefit off of tokens, life gain, cycling, just all together there. And I think that it has enough, not necessarily synergy, but it has just enough like high power level stuff that you're going to outvalue your opponents. It's definitely going to be like a mid-rangey style deck rather than like a control or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, with flying and
think
first
it's just
strike,
value,
honestly,
value.
he's a low enough CMC that it doesn't feel like a giant investment to just have him and never hit another mutate. You know what I mean? Like, it's just good value. 3/3 for 3 with flying and first strike.
And if you do mutate, then you get to cast something for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this last one we have is Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt. It's 1 in Mardu.
Yeah.
3/5 Dinosaur Cat Nightmare. It's 2, a hybrid Rakdos mana, and then white, double strike. Whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. So I think this one's really, really good and limited because...
Well, it's insane and limited.
Yeah,
It just wins the game.
It's just... I think
that has massive potential in Standard because it can hit Planeswalkers again. There's like 3 or 4 different cards that we've talked about that can hit Planeswalkers, and it's 4 damage. That is a significant chunk of Planeswalker. And then Double Strike is not nothing.
Yeah, 3/5 double strike for 4 mana. That's insane. I think the only problem is that it kind of has the same problems as a Vadrock, is that Mardu is kind of more the human colors, and there aren't as many good mutate triggers in those colors.
Again, you're probably using the same cards. I mean, you wouldn't use the Octopus, obviously.
Yeah,
You'd use the Black Bat, but like Black Bat, Cub Warden. I don't know if the red one is really what you want in this
I don't know, but a lot of those are Well, the Cub is 4 mana. This guy is 5 mana, and then the other one, or the Bat, is 6 mana. So I think to make the most out of this effect, at least, you need to get the cheaper mutate creatures, which I don't know if there are any cheaper than the Simic one or the Octopus, which is why I think this guy is a much better base, but I think realistically getting the mutate trigger more than 2 times in a game is not going to happen. I would love to see
if you do, though.
Yeah. Oh, like, buddy.
Because 4 damage to a creature, you're hoping to clear the board for him to just swing in. And if you get that a second time, like your opponent, like their Planeswalker is absolutely dead. Their board is absolutely demolished.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see where it'll get played, if at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it just not being played for its mutate cost and just being played straight up 3/5 double strike for 4.
Yeah, then it's incidental mutate. Well,
you guys, that
was a lot.
Officially the longest episode we've ever recorded in one. But this set's exciting. We're going to talk about some shit.
There's just way too much new stuff, and way too much new stuff that has potential to be very, very powerful.
Yeah. Realistically, we should have split this episode up in 2 as well, but we're powering through.
Maybe we will. All right. So in the confines of Limited, obviously those rares and mythics that we talked about are backbreaking and just very strong. Good thing they're all in a set together, right? The commons and uncommons, we actually spent a long time talking about those cards because they also had pretty good impact across the board. We got some new stables in Commander just immediately. Basically anything with cycling can just be thrown into a deck. What do you guys think overall, specifically about Mutate? Is it a game changer? Is it a format breaker? Is there a format that's going to do best with it? We've gone through all of it, but we talked about kind of where they slot in. What are your final thoughts on Mutate before we move on to Commander 2020 next week?
To me, I feel like there are things you can do with Mutate that are very good, but as an ability itself, I think it's certainly one of the weaker things we're getting as far as, the last 2-3 years maybe. Just because, like we said, you're kind of putting your eggs in one basket. You're getting multiple creatures effects, but you're losing the power and toughness and combat ability, and you're just risking a lot for sometimes good, sometimes middle of the road effects that, if you're looking for that extra advantage, extra effect, extra spell kind of thing, I think Planeswalkers are just a better investment. You know what I mean? And it feels kind of similar as far as what you're getting from that thing.
I definitely wouldn't have compared them to Planeswalkers, but I see the idea there where they're not like affecting combat and generally speaking not affecting like life total changes. Yeah. So I think that's a nice perspective to have on it. My argument obviously is just like, well, people play Voltron all the time, right? Yeah. So Cory, what about you?
I think they're going to be fun in draft and limited, and
dude,
I think this set's going to be
fucking insane.
Really,
I think
really good.
I think this is going to be best in draft.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
I don't think people will use Mutate as a main strategy in any other format, including Commander. I think it is really only useful in limited formats and just having supplemental effects that you basically use them as one-off effects. I think the best case is the Octopus, where if you're swinging in and getting damage anyways, just drawing an extra card each time for 2 mana. Like, people run enchantments that cost more and do less for that. And so I think...
Yeah, I think the Octopus goes into Voltron decks.
Yeah, I think the Octopus is really, really good. I think outside of just a couple cards in other formats, there's a lot of very good cards in the set for other formats, but Mutate cards are not part of it.
Yeah, I think in a vacuum,
this is going to be a ton of fun.
It's very, very, very powerful, but in the grand scheme of things, cycling is just the obvious winner of the set.
I still think they should have made more cards that had cycling instead of one generic. It'd be 1 white or 1 red or something like that.
I agree. Yeah, I think
because then it's like you can make them a little bit better and not break the game, but also like say specifically all you other colors that have good shit, get the fuck out of here. This is for the things that need it. Because you print one generic, like Everybody's taking it. We're not going to not play it.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm going to have so many bad draft decks.
5 color cycles.
Oh, it's easy. I'm like, I don't even have to pay colored mana for drawing cards. Are you kidding? I'm doing that all day. I think it's potential, and I would love to come back to Ikoria.
Yeah. I think they could do it in a commander set, because commander sets, they usually have just like one-offs.
Speaking of which, we got Commander 2020 focused on Ikoria, and one of the decks is actually a Mutate deck. Guess which 3-color deck it is, Gary?
Only the best, baby.
So we'll talk about those next week. For now, as I like to say on this podcast,
have fun.
And happy Cinco de Mayo.